What is going on, Crisis Actors? It is episode 997 of Pop Culture Crisis. This is an episode for the boys, or as we say, boys.
So true. A lot of boys.
The boys.
Got all the crew here in the studio right in front of me. Introduce yourself, please.
What is going on, Patriots? Tate Brown here holding it down. It's good to be back. It's been a little too long. It's making me a little uncomfortable how long it's been. I'm very happy to be back with the Crisis Actors today.
How long has it been? At least a couple of months.
Yeah, we've been on the road for so long. That was part of it. Yeah. And then before that, I don't know when the last time
we had the Christmas break before that.
Yeah.
A little double whammy.
Wow. And since he just introduced himself, sir.
What's up, folks? It's your boy, Half Armenian Charles. I'm host of The Green Room, who you can find on Timcast IRL on Rumble for those exclusive interviews with the guests where we just kind of just let it fly from the hip. So, yeah, cool.
Got any big interviews coming up?
I usually find out who the guest is when I shake their hands, so none that I know of. Not that
we
I
like
can
to
think
plan
of.
here.
I don't plan. I just shoot from the hip.
I love that.
We like to play. He's like,
you got the ShamWow guy tonight.
Oh, ShamWow. Yeah, we got ShamWow tonight. That'll be a lot of fun.
Is he running for office?
He's running for Congress.
He is, yeah.
I was like, you just know that there has to be some type of segue where it's just like, okay, well, there's no other reason for the ShamWow guy to be here. So.
Yeah,
so true.
That'll be. I hope he brings those ShamWow towels. Those things are great. They work. They're wonders.
I was like, we should go find one, but I don't even know if they manufacture them anymore.
It was like when Papa John came. It was like, there's no reason. Like, what?
Did he actually come
in 2021?
He brought a lot of pizza.
Did he?
No, that's not what happened. So we brought we got the pizza from the local Papa John's, and he went and did the test that he would do, where he would go to different Papa John's, like undercover boss, and like. He would rate them on the different, like, they have like a scale they're supposed to meet as far as quality, and he like rated the ones that we had from the local Papa John's. I think they got like a middling rating. They weren't super good. Nah. Brandon's here.
What's up, guys? Your boy Brando back again. I think this is like
3 weeks in a row.
Is this 3 weeks or 4 weeks in a row?
Could be 4. Yeah,
this might be a month now.
Well, it's busy here now too. We were just talking about before the show.
Everyone's back. Tate, why don't you call you should call your fans Tatriots?
Ooh, Tatriots.
That's been a few people have referred to themselves as a Tatriot.
Tater tots.
I
do like it.
I'm a Tatriot.
I think there's a lot of options.
Maybe a Tatriot.
Tate speech.
Tate speech.
Tate speech.
Tate's tots.
It's good to have a name that has a good like ring to it.
Master Tate. Is that
Master Taters?
Master Tate.
Master Taters. There we go. Nope, that's what it is.
There's a lot of different
Taters.
options.
Some of my Master Taters.
Hell yeah.
Rage Taters. There's a lot of options.
Oh my God.
We have a bunch of stuff to get into today, guys. But before we get started, would you hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. Remember to share the episodes out with your friends, your family, your loved ones, everybody in your life that you both love and hate. The more people that you share the content with, the faster this channel can grow. If you heard that crashing sound behind me, that is the wind outside as it kind of barrels against the fireplace that I am currently sitting in front of. So pay no mind to any of that, ladies and gentlemen. We have a bunch of stuff to get into, but before we actually talk about any of that, I do want to play this video here because Carter, good friend of the company because he works here. Like
friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
He's on all the time.
Let's listen to it because Carter is promoting new music from Trash House Records. So let's listen to what he has got to say here, guys. Here we go.
Banks here, Timcast music producer, full stack audio engineer, and multi-instrumentalist, as well as the president and operator at Trash House Records.
Bro, that's like a humble brag a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm here for it.
Right? Rattle off
everything. If you do a lot of stuff, you got to own it.
Let
right?
this man cook.
Let him cook.
Read your resume at that.
Let him ride.
Here we go. Let's let him talk.
Just want to give a quick shout out to our new artist, Alex Bianca. Particularly her new song. It's called Never Again. Tim wrote it, I produced it, Alex performed it, and I really need y'all to buy it, stream it, and tell everyone you know about it if you want to hear more songs from us. I've got a lot planned for 2026, new artists, new songs, and me and Alex particularly have been working tirelessly around the clock on a lot of material that I'm stoked to release. We've got many more bangers in the bank, but first we got to get this song the attention that it deserves, or at least I think it deserves. So please support us and check it out. It's on Spotify, it's on Apple Music, it's on YouTube Music, it's on YouTube, it's on Pandora, it's on Tidal, but most importantly, it's on iTunes, and if you go to buyneveraagain.com, it will automatically reroute you to the iTunes app, and you can just buy it for 99 cents, and if you do that, it is 150 times more powerful than if you were to just stream it or whatnot. You'd be helping me tremendously. You'd be helping us tremendously continue to make and create culture and music through culture. When you're seeing this, it will likely be Thursday, and this is the last day of the
He can see the future.
He's very good.
Time
tracking
travel.
week.
He can foresee.
So it will never count again as much as it counts right now. Anyway, thanks for your time and support. It means literally everything to me because my job wouldn't exist without y'all. And I really, really hope you like it. Let me know what you think about the song. Follow me at Carter Banks. Follow Alex at Alex Bianca Music everywhere. Follow us at Trash House Records everywhere. https://buyneveragain.com.
All right, guys.
Perfect delivery.
Shout out Carter. That was like he threw in the HTTPS. That was amazing.
...
Guys, we've got a bunch of stuff to get into today, but you should go check that link out. It is in the description of today's episode if you want to support Trash House Records, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. But you should do that after the show. After we get into everything today, we have a bunch of stuff to talk about. Yesterday, right before we went live, we got the news of the passing of actor James Van Der Beek. A lot of you will know him from stuff like Dawson's Creek. That's where many of the people who ended up commenting on my post about it seem to know him, as well as things like Varsity Blues. But he was a mainstay in Hollywood for decades, especially if you're a millennial. You definitely know who this guy was. He passed away, and since then, his family, a friend of the family, started a GoFundMe that very quickly hit over $1 million in less than 24 hours. And it's kind of ignited a whole discussion to be had about, you know, if even actors can't afford to have cancer, like what hope does that have for the rest of us? So we will get into that. There's some tweets about it. We're also going to talk about Britney Spears. Speaking of other people in these industries, Britney Spears looks to have sold her entire music catalog, which has me wondering if it's possible that she is desperate for cash right now, given the fact that, I actually had like an exchange with Phil the other day too. I sent him a message on Slack because I'm like, look, I don't know enough about a lot of this stuff. I'm like, can you tell, like, what's the difference between like owning your masters and selling your music rights? I'm like, if it was this difficult for Taylor Swift to get her masters, you know, to buy her masters and get the original version of all her songs, how are artists like her and Justin Bieber just selling this stuff off? Phil had some answers for me. I think I might read them from here. He was supposed to be on the show today, but Phil, he had a prior engagement. So we're going to talk about Britney Spears selling her music catalog. We're going to talk about how Hollywood is actually panicking right now, even more than usual. They have the possibility of a strike coming up from both the Directors Guild of America, as well as the Writers Guild of America, as well as SAG-AFTRA, meaning the actors, the writers, and the directors all have contracts coming up. AI is expanding. We've got a bunch of new AI videos that I'm going to show you guys that have certain people in the industry scoffing and other people freaking out, because now the people that are running these AI companies are getting death threats because of the turf they're honing in on and taking over there. So we will talk about that. Also, there is one trend in all of the internet that everybody hates, and we are going to all hate on it together. That is, of course, the practice of vague booking, or vague posting as it's now called, because I guess Facebook doesn't have a monopoly on vague booking.
Vague booking was too vague.
It was
too vague.
Yeah.
So even the vague booking became more like pinpoint. So we got that. We got a bunch of other stuff. If you guys are ready, we can just go. Charles, you ready?
It was like a roll.
Ready?
I am ready.
Good. He said yes. Obviously, he waited a little long. You good, buddy?
Wow.
I'm waiting. I'm trying to figure it. No, yeah, let's go.
He's vague posting IRL.
He's posting his readiness.
Vague motion.
Let's talk about it then, guys. All right. So yesterday we did discuss the passing of actor James Van Der Beek. He was, of course, in Dawson's Creek. He's been in a lot of things. He's been a Hollywood mainstay since the 90s. And, of course, he passed away because he had colon cancer. He leaves behind a wife, Kimberly, and 6 kids. From everything that I can see, he's everything that conservatives imagine actors are not. He seemed to be very devoted to his family. He seemed high in the concept of discernment. He loved where he lived. He loved his family. All of this stuff. But somehow, the good ones get taken too soon. Now, the real issue here, guys, is that after he passed, a friend of their family started a GoFundMe page to, take care of his wife and children. Again, his wife, Kimberly, and their 6 children. And they had a goal set for $350,000 initially. It passed that like instantaneously. It climbed over $1 million, and then last I checked before we went live, it passed $1.5 million. Now they moved the goal, and I wonder if you guys think, does that say something to you guys when they changed the goal on it? Because that's something people have a discussion about whenever, in the political sphere, this stuff comes up whenever there's like a shooting or somebody says the N-word and then somebody starts a GoFundMe for them. And the goal moves up because it becomes about getting more money and not about the initial idea of whatever they were trying to do. Does that kind of set off alarm bells to you guys? I'm not trying to be like cynical about it. It's
Capitalism,
Well,
isn't it?
now the
Well, it seems like a faux pas.
now the like the N-word freakouts, which are happening like every month, where like we create a new celebrity out of thin air because they said the N-word in public. What they've now done is they just learned that you should set the bar of your goal at $1 million because it will hit it. You will hit
The
it.
law is
Is that the
expensive.
status?
And there's a lot of these people that don't know, like, they don't know where that, if it's going to fall on deaf ears or not, you know, putting something like that out there. So they're like, let's shoot for something sensible. That way it gains, you know, traction, and maybe we hit it. And if it completely exceeds expectations, I mean, what do you expect to happen? Now, the moral thing to do would be to bow out here. Thanks for the donations. We appreciate it. Far exceeded expectations. Realistically, if you're looking for like the capital side of things, and it's like, hey, let's just put it back up for 3 and see what we do.
I mean,
Yeah, but it's
6
not-
kids is like $1 million isn't even going to do that much.
Yeah.
6 kids.
Couple meals.
in America.
Hardly closed baby formula.
I'm going to read you guys what the GoFundMe says. And again, I know I'm sounding cynical here, but like I said, I'm going to play you this video of James Van Der Beek. It's what kind of inspired me to want to talk about it today, because I do feel like, you know, I haven't done like a deep dive into what this guy's entire life was like, but for all intents and purposes, he seemed like a family man who stopped acting for a period of time because he wanted to spend time with his family. The other reason this matters is because if you want your insurance in Hollywood, if you have your SAG card, you have to be continuously working. Otherwise, you stop qualifying for insurance. So this is what it says.
Point.
James Van Der Beek was a beloved husband, father, and friend who touched the lives of everyone around him. After a long and courageous battle with cancer, James passed away on February 11th, 2026, leaving behind his devoted wife, Kimberly, and their 6 wonderful children. Throughout his illness, the family faced not only emotional challenges, but also significant financial strain as they did everything possible to support James and provide for his care. In the wake of this loss, Kimberly and the children are facing an uncertain future. The costs of James's medical care and the extended fight against cancer have left the family without funds. They are working hard to stay in their home and ensure their children can continue their education and maintain some stability during this incredibly difficult time. The support of friends, family, and the wider community will make a world of difference as they navigate the roads ahead. Your generosity will help cover essential living expenses, pay bills, and support your children's education. Every donation, no matter the size, will help Kimberly and her family find hope and security as they rebuild their lives. Thank you for considering a gift to support them. So I guess what's your guys' first take on it? Because I feel like most people, right, you know, off the cuff, especially in these circles, are going to say like he was an actor. I saw reports online that said his net worth was anything from $3 to $4 million. Obviously, they're saying that was wiped out
That's pretty low for a Hollywood superstar like that.
Well, I mean,
even if he's been out of work for a while.
Yeah.
You know?
So what is your take on it? Like, do you think that this is one of those things that it's just a matter of what side of the aisle you sit on? Because the top comment on the Variety article about it was like, why doesn't she get a job?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of learned after the Charlie Kirk thing, and everyone had all their takes on Erica, how she ought to mourn, and these sorts of things. I hate to sound like a fence sitter, but I just am really hesitant to like tell people how they should behave after their spouse dies. You're literally, I mean, I would imagine your planet gets blown up.
She didn't start this GoFundMe. Again,
It was a friend.
to be fair, it was started by a friend of the family. It wasn't started by the wife.
So it's like, you know, people are expecting her to like weigh in and correct the record. I'm like,
Yeah.
her planet just blew up. I mean, like,
And 6 kids to worry
this
about.
guy doesn't know what to do. He's just like, I'll just raise as much money as I possibly can and then give it to him.
Yeah, I was on the fence. I was like, well, you know, you said 300,000, you hit the goal. Much to Brandon's point, it's like just politely bow out. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. If people want to donate, they'll donate.
People like the
and,
guy,
you know,
and-
it's for a good cause.
That's the other half of that too. Is it's like if you're just leaving the floodgate open, you know, and
Yeah.
it is ultimately going to pay for like 6 kids' educations, you know, stuff like that. I mean, what the hell ever. Like if people want to give, let them give.
If you
But
want to give
6,
the money, just give it.
300K will pay for like 3 of the kids' college. That way it works nowadays.
I don't know. The college is
And depending on
expensive.
where they live, like
They're in California.
if they had other properties, they're gonna have to sell those properties to pay the taxes down on a lot
on the
of it.
tax on the gifts they're gonna get.
Yeah, they just
Taxes
realized
on the
like
capital gains that they make over selling their properties,
Yeah.
whether they were there for longer
California's a
than 2 years
great
at a
state.
time.
Everybody move to California, pay your taxes.
Play this video, guys, so you can get an idea of what I was talking about when I said that this is one of those ones where it feels like Hollywood loses the ones that actually seemed like they were the good people. So listen to what he said.
Today's my birthday, and it has been the hardest year of my life, and I wanted to share something that I learned with y'all. When I was younger, I used to define myself as an actor, right? Which was never really all that fulfilling. And then I became a husband, and that was much better. And then I became a father, and that was the ultimate. I could define myself then as a loving, capable, strong, supportive husband, father, provider, steward of the land that we're so lucky to live on. And for a long time, that felt like a really good definition to the question, who am I? What am I? And then this year, I had to look my own mortality in the eye. I had to come nose to nose with death. And all of those definitions that I cared so deeply about were stripped from me. I was away for treatment, so I could no longer be a husband that was helpful to my wife. I could no longer be a father who could pick up his kids and put them to bed and be there for them. I could not be a provider because I wasn't working. I couldn't even be a steward of the land because at times I was too weak to prune all the trees during the window that you're supposed to prune them. And so I was faced with the question, if I am just a too skinny, weak guy alone in an apartment with cancer, what am I? And I meditated and the answer came through, I am worthy of God's love. Simply because I exist. And if I'm worthy of God's love, shouldn't I also be worthy of my own? And the same is true for you. And as I move through this healing portal toward recovery, I wanted to share that with you because I think that revelation that came to me was due in no small part to all the prayers and the love that have been directed toward me. So I offer that to you, however it sits in your consciousness, however it resonates, run with it. And if the word God trips you up, I certainly don't know. I can't claim to know what God is or explain God. My efforts to connect to God are an ongoing process that is a constant unfolding mystery to me. But if it's a trigger, it feels too religious, you can take the word God out and your mantra can simply be, I am worthy of love.
Okay, so say what you want about the religious aspect of it. I would imagine that in these circles that would, appeal to a lot of people who think of Hollywood as a bunch of demon Satanists who sacrifice children, right? But the fact of the matter is it's not that simple. And the industry attracts all sorts of people from all sorts of backgrounds. And he did what, he was one of the ones who moved away from California because California sucks. And he moved to Texas, took his family there. And I guess for me, I see him as kind of a window into aspects of Hollywood that most people don't find interesting enough to talk about because it doesn't play along with the narrative that everybody there is evil. Is there evil in Hollywood? Yeah, 110%. Yes, I think that's absolutely true. But for cases like this, I think it's important to point out that not everyone is like that. And for cases like this, then the discussion, of course, it can't even stay apolitical in a way because then it started getting pushed into this territory where people were making it about immediately universal health care. Like if a rich famous actor can't afford cancer, then how do we the plebs assume that we're going to somehow make it? And this is coming up too because, and we're going to get into it later, the unions are going back to the bargaining table in Hollywood, and one of the big ones for them is healthcare and the way that healthcare works in that union. This was a tweet that somebody said. I'll put this back up on screen for people. This person says, it's a shameful state of affairs when actors are forced to use GoFundMe to keep their healthcare or their families afloat after they die. And I'm under the impression it's primarily because they lose their SAG insurance if they don't keep working. Maybe acting isn't high on their list of priorities when they're, dying. And then you have to be the bad guy who says, okay, it's not a charity. And the union can't keep you on. Like when you leave your job, you don't keep your health insurance there. It's a little bit different for them because they're all, I don't know if they're 1099s. I'm assuming that's what you'd end up being if you're.
Then you wouldn't get health insurance benefits.
They're very comparable to contractors, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was something like a 1099.
So this was another one. So, well, no, it can't be, right? Because they can't be, the union isn't part of that. They're 1099s or something similar to that when they're making the movies because they're an independent
Normally
contractor.
You wouldn't get the benefits in that circumstance.
So this person says he was in one of the most successful teen dramas ever. He couldn't afford health care. He auctioned off Dawson's Creek memorabilia. Paul Walter Hauser launched a fundraiser for him. I think that raised about $20,000. His wife and 6 kids face losing their home. America should be embarrassed. Medicare for all. So it's already been politicized.
If he had the Medicare for all, he would have been tossed down the triage list,
Yeah.
because you wouldn't have been seen at all, because that's the whole thing.
It's like very advanced cancer treatments, expensive everywhere.
Yeah.
That's how it works. I mean, people in other countries will come to the United States because
it's quicker.
you are getting what you're paying for as far as advanced cancer treatment.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's-
like the people you go look at, like MD Anderson, they're doing great work, and it's like it's actually worth the price you're paying. It's just you got to think about it. I mean, people weren't surviving cancer before. Now that you have a chance, it's like it's worth the price.
And the wait list in these other countries. That's why they come here, because it's like
Yeah.
not just the technology and the price of what you get, but like they go to Canada or UK or something like that, and they'll be like, well, we'll see you in, I don't know, 6 months, when you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it that long.
Well,
Yeah, but one thing if he died when it was like very early stages or something
Yeah.
fairly
Like
innocuous.
stage 3 when he got diagnosed.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
He was far along.
Yeah,
he's
it's hit or
very
miss
far
at
along.
3, yeah.
It's tragic.
that's tough.
Well, it's crazy to consider too that like, you know, you think about actors, you have this whole fairy tale idea in your head that actors have it fucking made because they've got all this money, you know. But you realize as like a W-2 employee in a situation, you might actually have better health care than most actors in Hollywood.
Well, so this is true in pro wrestling. They're independent contractors. They have to, like, their surgeries will end up getting covered by the companies that they work for, but it's not the same thing as health insurance. Like if they have to go to rehab, or like rehab for an injury or actual WWE physical actual rehab for drugs and stuff like that, they'll send them there. But otherwise, like you're paying your own out of pocket expenses for all that stuff, and it's a go-to criticism that people have whenever. And this doesn't just have to be true of celebrities. If you want to take away the Hollywood aspect of it. Anybody who's doing better than you immediately dismiss and say, well, they have money, so how bad could their life be? Without realizing, look at how many young actors who started out in Hollywood who came into wealth at a young age, but then end up messed up because of what the industry did to them.
There was one that went viral. Was it like last month or so? The child actor, where he was homeless, and then the guy, the guy got him a hotel room and everything. But then was he ungrateful for? Like, did he kind of trash it or something like that? Or
Yeah, I mean, like that was
I
that
forget.
case was pretty clear to me that he wasn't ready to be helped.
Yeah.
The actor, like when you're down the well with drugs and stuff like that, like there's plenty of people that mean well. I called into question, and Tyler, what was his name? Tyler, somebody can give me the last name. I can't remember it, but so. I questioned the people that were trying to help him because they were only helping him with a camera in their face, within his face, which is gross.
Yep.
Yeah.
But then beyond that, it's like when you're that bad down, like you can't until you're ready to get help. Nothing's going to help you. Like everybody giving you all the good advice in the world doesn't do a thing.
They call it rock bottom for a reason.
Yeah, we got a 20 here from SOC Hobbit. Says, my dad got pancreatic cancer 2 years ago. The treatments and care he got was fantastic, and his last appointment is a month ago. Marked him clean of cancer, but the insurance and bureaucracy of the payment system was hell on earth. Yes, and
Well,
Yeah,
congrats on
but
the recovery.
congratulations
That's
to your
amazing.
dad. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's what I hear more complaints about with people that have to, go through something so horrible like this. Is it's never even necessarily about the price, because I think a lot of them are like, I mean, again, this is just what it costs, but it's the amount of hoops you have to jump through, the negotiations between the insurance and the hospitals and everything. It's just unnecessarily convoluted, where it just you're not just given. I mean, you have this diagnosis and then you're given a full-time job. How do you navigate this? It's just
The hidden billing is what drives me crazy.
the hidden billing's
when you get the
crazy.
itemized deduction or itemized.
Well, you have
bill.
to ask. Like oftentimes, you have to ask for the itemized receipt of everything that was done to you, because then they're like, "Oh, it didn't cost that much," which is fucking
They have
evil.
they have a
Yeah.
concierge fee at some hospitals or something like that.
Yeah.
Like if you have a guest visit, like
Yeah.
it's like a $200 or something. But they won't tell you that. But you'll get it in the bill. Like we had a guest on the green room, something Schumacher, something like that.
Okay. Joel
He's-
Schumacher, Batman.
No, not Batman. He was starting.
I was like, wait a minute, what?
He was he was starting a like a group health insurance thing where people
crowd health.
crowd
yeah.
health, that guy.
Yeah.
And he was talking about it, and like he was starting a service where they help you not so much negotiate, but just whittle down these extra costs in your health bill.
Yeah, because the
Suck.
insurance company does that. Like they will negotiate out every little thing.
Oh, I negotiate all. I never pay the bill. I'll be
Yeah.
like, I got $200.
So
take it or leave
the
it.
hospital-
I'm never paying this again.
Yeah, so the hospital like knows how to operate on the minimal budget like that they get. But if you're just going in there by yourself, you're just like, I guess that's how much it costs.
I mean, I've seen more than a few reports that like for all the hospitals that end up getting bought out by private equity, care automatically starts going down, and everything gets worse for stuff like that. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about social media in general. So long people have been having a discussion about the idea of social media being addictive, but what we're actually seeing right now, which is crazy, is we're seeing actual social media on trial right now. Basically, Meta and Instagram are on trial, and they are being sued by this woman. Her name is KGM. That's like the pseudonym they've given her. It's or Kaylee. They won't give you her full name. She's a 20-year-old from California. She alleges that social media, in this case Facebook and Instagram, whereas previously Snapchat and TikTok were part of this lawsuit, they settled out of court. They were like, we're not even going to bother. We've got endless money. We'll probably just pay her off in the interim. Says that they deliberately designed addictive features like infinite scroll, autoplay, algorithm pushing harmful content, and even like buttons used to hook children on social media, and says that she began using social media at 6 years old, which led to addiction and worsening mental health concerns like body dysmorphia, self-harm, and bullying. So here's the article. It says Instagram head Adam Mosseri took to the witness stand on Wednesday in a Los Angeles courtroom to defend the social media platform against allegations that it knowingly harmed young users, marking a pivotal moment in what could become a landmark case for the tech industry. This is the quote. "We're trying to be as safe as possible, but also censor as little as possible," he said in the civil case brought by the 20-year-old woman identified as Kaylee, who claims Instagram and YouTube intentionally developed addictive features that harmed her mental health. During his testimony, Mosseri drew a distinction between addiction and what he termed problematic use of social media. "I think it's important to differentiate between clinical addiction and problematic use." He acknowledged that he is not a medical professional, but yes, for an individual, there is such a thing as using Instagram more than you feel good about, he told the courts. When the plaintiff's attorney, Mark Lanier, asked if Mosseri was aware that Kaylee had once spent over 16 hours in a single day on Instagram, he responded, "That sounds like problematic use." The case is considered a bellwether trial that could shape the outcome of more than 1,500 similar lawsuits against social media companies. Two other defendants originally named in the suit were TikTok and Snapchat. Both settled with the plaintiff. I'm guessing this was go-away money on
it has to be.
The courtroom was filled with emotional observers, including parents who blame social media for their children's death. Judge Carolyn B. Kuehl threatened to remove grieving mothers from the courtroom if they couldn't contain their emotions during testimony. Lanier questioned Mosseri extensively about Instagram's controversial beauty filters, presenting internal emails from 2019 in which the company's executives debated whether to ban filters that mimicked plastic surgery. That just sounds evil to me. Like to give you, it's like, here, have Kendall Jenner's nose or something like that. It says one email noted that the filters were primarily used by teen girls, and experts were unanimous on the harm there. "We are talking about encouraging young girls into body dysmorphia," another email from a Meta executive read. He testified that Instagram initially banned all filters that distort face, but later modified the policy to only prohibit filters that specifically promoted plastic surgery, while continuing to allow those that alter facial features, like enlarging lips or slimming nose. Thoughts on okay, so I guess I'll just give my thoughts off the bat, and then we can go around the room, which is basically the parents are there with this lady, and they should be absolutely ashamed of the fact that they did not work harder to monitor what their child was doing and then let this lawsuit go forward. But thoughts?
It's kind of crazy because I was on Instagram not long ago, and I started getting a lot of pregnancy and expecting reels and stuff, and I was like, that's odd. And then not much later, my wife's like, "Oh, by the way, surprise." I was like, "Oh, let's go." But I was like, but the
you can thank your ISP for that.
The algorithm knew before I did, or we did.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we've decided that we're not going to have any screen time, nothing. And I was like, for 1 year, 2 years, she's like, "No, till they're adult, there's no screen time."
Dude, segue, but that's kind of bullshit. Did that ruin the surprise for you? When she told you, were you just kind of like, "Oh yeah, I actually kind of thought that was happening because my phone ruined it for me last week."
I said after it took a minute for it to kind of click. It wasn't literally like, "Oh, pregnancy," and she's like, "By the way,"
God, that sucks.
No, it was cool. I'm super happy.
No, I mean, if you're fine with it, you're fine with it. But I'm just thinking that's not something I've even remotely thought was gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
But that just dawned on me that algorithms can totally ruin that for families.
They do.
Now,
They used to know when I was gonna poop, and they told me to get a squatty potty, and I got one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No,
Dude, Squatty Potty.
I don't know
is
how.
Great.
I don't
Squatty
know.
Potty's awesome.
The algorithm, dude, it's creepy. Like they know the exact mood you're
Rabbity,
in,
rabbity, and the
and
cackling
they'll
stump.
give you targeted reels. Like, are you going through? It'll be like SpongeBob or like some sort of cartoon character. They're like, are you going through a really tough time right now? And then they give you like a pep talk. And like, I am. But how'd you know that?
Like,
You know what the weirdest thing about the algorithm is like it simultaneously will feed you content that that plays to your sense of humor, but at the same time, it's impossible to then refine things after the fact. I was talking about this because we were having a discussion about like Elijah Schaefer, and they were talking about like his kids are going to go back and read these tweets. I'm like, no, they're not. Like they're not gonna like I can't find anything I posted.
You'd have to scour the internet after a certain amount of
like-
time to actually get it to come back. Yeah.
This whole idea that like we were told growing up, like everything you put on the internet's forever is just not true. Like you see how many.
It's not-
But
it's
it
not
is.
that
But
it
you
is,
have to
but-
find it.
Yeah.
No,
That's
it's
the thing.
not. Like people will go all the time. They're like, does anybody remember this specific video? And
Well,
then
there's.
no one
I feel
has
like
it 'cause
there's
no
a
one
purge
archived it.
rate. There's a purge
And-
rate for sure where shit falls off. It's almost like having tickets on your record
And
for
all
3
these
years. You
all
know,
these
like-
large companies like Meta and others have come out and say they're actually having to clear out their databases.
Yeah,
so they
because-
clear out a lot of old
Fair.
data.
So,
So
like,
there's
the
actually.
cache is too
I guess
big.
it's not for.
I mean, maybe X will be around forever or Instagram, but like a lot of the stuff that you post is just going to get lost.
Well,
at some
this
point.
is a
I think
direct-
someone 30
this
years
is-
down the road. Yeah, his
That's a
kids-
direct cause of why more data centers are being built in more and more places.
Well, that's for
is-
like
Literally,
AI.
in, like,
AI,
in the next-
sure, but also information and data retention for users.
I tried to find my Vine stuff. I couldn't get it.
Yeah, like
That was
all
so
like
sad.
Vine is gone.
Dude,
Like,
it was
unless it's like a top viral that got saved and put in a compilation, every Vine is just gone. You can't get it anymore. It's gone.
The other thing that I forgot to mention during the James Vanderbeek segment is he's the product of one of the biggest memes in American culture, which is the crying blonde-haired
Yeah.
guy. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like that will live longer than most things that ever get posted on social media.
Yeah, so it's like they expunge a lot of this data. As far as like with the filters, I remember me and my friends a few years ago we used one of those like photo booths, like the old school photo booth. You go and take the photos and it prints it off. It was a Korean one, and I remember we all got our pictures after, and we all loved them. We were like, these are so cool. They look so great, that sort of thing. But we couldn't figure out why these specific photos were so captivating. And then like a few months down the line, one of my buddies was like analyzing them, and he's like, they put like looks filters on all of us. That's why we like it so much,
They
because we're all
farmed you.
yeah, we're all looking at it like, wow, we look really good.
Dude, I look like a Chad.
Everybody here needs to know right now, if you're ever feeling bad about yourself, go look at yourself in the mirror in the front hallway, like in the front
Oh,
bathroom.
yeah.
Like it
Or a-
slims you down.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
And they make mirrors like that. That whole point is like at a store, the mirror is designed to like make you think you look better than you do.
I need this
I'm
mirror.
gonna go.
Yeah,
I'm
so-
gonna go look over there. Mirror on the wall.
I think like these filters could actually be of benefit to the population, maybe if they're more widespread.
So they're going to give
Automatically-
people confidence.
Yeah, I think so.
So Masari had previously faced scrutiny about whether he may have dismissed internal warnings about the platform's addictive designs. A conversation between Meta researchers mentioned by the plaintiff's attorney in this ongoing statement stressed the addictive nature of the platform. One employee suggested in an internal correspondence that IG is a drug, and another said, lol, I mean, all social media. We're basically pushers. And that's what Jonathan Haidt talked about this. Had talked about this as social media being unbelievably addictive, especially for teenage girls and stuff like that. And this type of stuff will lead to more problems like body dysmorphia. But the problem is like this is not necessarily for the courts to adjudicate. Like your family should be your first line of defense in keeping your kids away from falling into these patterns. And if you have unrestricted social media use at 6 or 8 or 7 years old, you're setting your children up for failure.
Yeah.
That's my wife's like, you can't even play video games. I was like, hold on here.
Yeah,
hold on, let's I'll turn the baby around. It'll be okay.
There's also this helpless, oh my god, I'm stupid and defenseless thing that's happening here. Like with the whole, remember back in the day when that lady dumped McDonald's coffee on her lap and sued for like $60 billion or some
she got
crazy
paid though.
shit like
She
that.
got
Yeah.
paid though.
Massive payday, but she's banking on the fact that, oh my god, I'm so stupid, I didn't realize coffee was hot.
But it was like,
like,
but
if-
the reason it was so hot, it was like way too hot.
I mean, I'm not talking about all that shit aside. In my opinion, unless that person reached out and dumped the coffee in your lap from outside the
They
drive-thru
may as
window,
well. Because I
the
think the
fault
lid
was
was.
yours.
They did put the lid on tight.
I think the
enough.
lid wasn't
it was the whole
properly
thing.
fastened.
They didn't put the lid
or
on
when
tight.
she squeezed the cup,
and
the lid popped
and
off.
there was no warning on the cup saying that this is hot coffee.
I
Oh
like.
my god, there needs to be a warning that tells me my coffee's hot.
I know. I actually kind of like that America is like a lawsuit culture because everything. When you realize when you travel other places, you're like, everything in America, when the people are doing their jobs properly, like everything here fires on all cylinders, and it's because everyone is petrified of being sued at all times.
But the shit part about that is you have to read the fine print on everything you do, which I guess kind of goes.
I mean, this is
Maybe
also
it's a product of the times.
One benefit, people always dunk them like, look, America is the best country on planet Earth if you're handicapped, because there's so many lawsuits. Our ADA compliance is like next level, to the point where like every single thing it looks like Tony Hawk design. Like there's ramps everywhere and railings.
Skating wise, that was fantastic.
Just imagine people getting points now and just rolling up the ramps.
Literally.
You gotta have fun with life, man.
The downside to that
Bonus.
though is like somebody's getting mugged and you're like, I'm not getting involved because I don't want like to
then-
push this.
Yeah,
guy
that's
over.
like
Good
with
Samaritan
the,
stuff.
with the DAs. Like the DAs, we should bring back like vigilantism and
like
stuff.
car accidents and stuff. Vigilantes.
In 1992, 79-year-old Stella Liebeck suffered third-degree burns from spilling scalding hot 180 to 190 degrees
That's
Fahrenheit.
crazy.
If my
Way too
coffee
hot.
isn't burning the
Crazy.
roof off my
Way-
mouth, I don't want
No,
it. I'm sorry.
I like Tim
Way
Pool's
too
take. Tim Pool's take, where he's like, and this is the correct take. It's not even like a debate. I'm just telling you this is Tim Pool had the correct take here.
Facts.
He's like these coffee companies, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, whatever. You buy a cup of coffee, they have it that hot because they're anticipating you taking it back to the office. So by the time you get to the office, then it's at drinking temperature. Tim's whole argument is like, I'm buying the coffee now. It needs to be ready to drink right now. I think he actually even had a proposal where maybe there's two separate orders. You could have, I want it now
Coffee to go and coffee now.
or coffee to go.
Later
Yeah.
coffee.
$2.9 million. So she did the art of the deal. She's like, look, I want $60
Is it
gazillion.
the 70s?
No, this is 90s.
No, this was
92.
So 2.9 mil in the 90s. We're probably
That's a
talking
good
like
day.
10 mil now,
It's a
right?
good day.
Says judge awarded. Oh wait, no, I say.
It was a shit ton of money back then.
Yeah.
Judge awarded $200,000 in compensatory damages, reduced to $160,000, and $2.7 million in punitive damages.
Yep.
They're like, you did that deliberately. You
That's-
saw this
Yeah,
old
so-
lady,
but
and
that's
you were
not
like,
tax-free.
"Fuck her."
If Vander Beek's buddies all like been out of shape over the money, just head to these fast food restaurants and get a coffee spilled on you, and then you'll be
A
good.
little too late for James though.
Yeah, well.
You think?
yeah.
So look, where do you fall down at? Like where do you fall on this issue? So do you think that the lawsuit has some legs on it as far as like they should actually be paying out, or do you think that her family failed along the way?
A little
Or
bit of both.
both,
A little
yeah.
bit of
I think
both.
both is
I
true.
think there needs to probably be some kind of, I don't want to say guardrails, but some kind of modification to social media and kind of like just not being an instant dopamine hit. But the onus does come on the family, especially with the parents and children.
I've softened my stance a little bit over the years because I used to very much be in the camp of like these are bad parents. They should, like with the iPad kids, it's like these are just terrible parents. Like how dare you outsource your parenting to like a company or whatever.
Bluey.
But to steel man like the parents sort of argument here, I do think it's crazy that you have to jump through all these additional hoops now to parent your kid normally. Like people didn't have to deal with that prior. So I'm like, I do actually agree that maybe lawsuits like this, let's make the jobs, because it's actually quite difficult to raise children nowadays. Let's make it a little bit easier for parents where they don't have to worry about like playing whack-a-mole with all these different elements. Like raising a kid has never been more complicated than it is right now. And so while I agree, yes, this is, the parent should have a tight lid on this. Parents, we should make it easier. Like it's so hard to raise kids right now. That's the main reason I would say, among everything else, why the birth rate's so low is because it's just such a pain to
People
raise
are
a child.
like, how am
Making
I
me
supposed
excited.
how am I supposed to even make it happen?
Yeah, so it's just like, I mean, maybe the iPad kid's a little crazy. Like, okay, don't give your kid an iPad, but to a degree, it's just like maybe we shouldn't make it so difficult to raise kids. It's like you can probably just hold these companies accountable on some things where the parents, again, don't have to worry about every single aspect of the world potentially tampering with their child.
How do you fix it then?
I think
More lawsuits?
I think being a present, parent, father, mother, really being present. We, again, back to the green room, we talked about this with Terry Schilling the other night. Schilling the other night, where he was talking about fatherhood and the lack thereof
Yeah.
in the United States, and it's important. And he's not saying just being an abandoned father, but being present in your family and your relationship.
Yeah,
And I think that's important.
I think
paramount.
like instead of the current solution right now, which is what they're doing in Australia, which is there's a whole nother political element to this, is they're like, okay, well, it requires you to submit your ID to use social media, so that way they can determine how old you are. I don't like that because I think there's a better alternative, which is they should just force these companies like Apple, Samsung to release a separate phone that is dumbed down, that is just it's impossible
just
to.
a Game Boy, literally just a
Yeah,
Game Boy.
and I'm like,
So,
that could be the
what's-
solution because like
What's
these.
to prevent the parents from just giving you a not dumbed down phone?
Well, then again, that
That's
comes
the
down to the
parenting.
parents, but it's
Okay.
like you need to give the parents an option to at least like. I still want to be able to call the kid if he's at school or something.
I thought they made
Motorola
phones. I
flip
thought
phone,
They
man.
do,
Get the
but-
bring it back. Bring the razor
They
back.
do, but like people need like easy choices.
It's a phone. You just pick up a flip phone. Hey mom, hey dad.
Yeah, but like, you know, if they can just release like when I was a kid, I had an iPod Touch, like something similar to that being re-released.
I've been watching all
people will buy it because it has Apple on it, and it's like in their ecosystem. It's with the iCloud system. Like you just have to make it as easy as possible for parents to raise their children. I don't think that's a bad thing to have the position of like, let's just try to make it easier for parents.
I've been watching all these videos about like they're my new favorite videos of like they're made with like AI. It's like the worst AI voice you've ever heard. It's just slop, and it's like products that failed in the 90s and 2000s to see like how we got to where we are.
The Zune, remember that?
Zune was one of them. And
I love the Zune.
My brother had a Zune and he lived and died by that thing. Like if they still made him, he would still have it.
I did a project in college on the Zune saying how it could be the next big thing.
Oh.
And it could have been, but they messed it up.
They're not hiring you in the tech boardrooms. All right, we got a couple of $20 super chats here. One from Olivia Dasovic.
Oh, friend of the show.
Hey.
Also a friend of the show. Says, boys. Hi, Tate, Brandon, and Charles. Congrats to you and the missus. Very excited for you guys. Just sending a chat to tell everyone to get a crisis party. Oh, hey, Brett. Nice to see you.
Wait, how do you know she was talking to you?
She said congratulations, Charles.
But she didn't say, no, she says congratulations to you and to the missus.
I'm assuming because he's
Are you married?
Are you
No.
married? Are you
I'm
married?
not
Maybe she
married.
doesn't know.
I mean, it
It could be anyone.
If
She could have been saying it to me.
Is she congratulating herself?
Oh,
Congratulations.
Congratulations to me, Olivia.
Well, I'm
She's
gonna take the praise.
All right,
I'm gonna
yeah, you
take
jump on the grenade
I'm
here.
gonna take it. I'm gonna take it. Thank you.
All
very
right.
much.
Thank you, Olivia. We have another 20 here from Pop Culture Junkie. Says, Meta really wants to win the case to cut off the conveyor belt of cases that are moving right behind it.
Yeah.
They are trying to keep it in the media as much as possible. Yeah, I saw that there's like a ton of different ancillary cases that are all kind of in the same vein, but this is the biggest one out of them.
Yeah, there's already like there's already a what do you call it, a can of worms opened up with Apple in Europe, where the EU passed some legislation where they force phones to use USB-C. So that's why like American Apple like iPhones now have USB-C, is because of an EU regulation. And so the can of worms has been open now, where these American companies are trying to have to figure out like, how do we comply with, at what point do we continue to comply with EU regulation? Because we're having to change our product in America now. And it's kind of the same thing with Meta. Is like, as soon as you start to give it, if they give an inch here, a mile will be taken.
So they're digging their heels in.
Like back in the day, like I knew more than one kid who, like, back when you would try to buy like 3-chip cameras for skating, meaning like the DVX series, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But sometimes you get screwed and accidentally buy the European version, which ran on PAL rather than NTSC.
Yeah, you gotta get converters and shit.
Oh, it's the worst. All right, guys, let's move on. We've got more stuff to get into today. We were just talking about family, so I guess it's fitting that discussion continues here. If anybody had followed the case of Brooklyn Beckham, who is now married to Nicola Peltz, who's the daughter of Nelson Peltz, who tried to take over Disney the other years, like one of the richest men in the world. And there's all these controversies about Brooklyn Beckham cutting off life with his family because he believes that his parents, which is Posh Spice and David Beckham, calls them toxic, and there was more than a few examples that he gave definitely showed that their relationship seemed to be more about, you know, a public-facing relationship to show how great the family was, and less about actually loving your kids. But that's not really what this is about. This is about the growing trend of people going no contact with their family. I'm going to read some of this article, and these people are from the EU, so bear in mind when I have to say things like mum. It says, why are so many young people going no contact with their parents? It says, mum has been on thin ice for a while, Joe tells me. The 29-year-old described to go no contact with his mother a little over a year ago, but as he explains, the cracks had been there for some time. For starters, she was racist and homophobic, which Joe, who identifies as queer, could never quite come to terms with. Quote, I would never have an excuse for all her faults. Her racism was her age. Her being estranged from my brother meant she needed me. He explains, added that he knew deep down that these excuses for her behavior didn't really stand up. Things came to a head when Joe's mother became romantically involved within a racist ex-copper. Again.
Ex-copper?
Yes, ex-copper. Who would use slurs and mansplain everything. When Joe expressed to his mother that he felt uncomfortable around her new partner, she implored to him to try for her sake. Then, last December, his mother's partner physically attacked Joe, prompting him to call the police and flee the house. Mom saw all this unfold, but she told the police that she saw nothing. Joe's brother came to collect him and has not seen or spoken to his mother since. Over a year on, Joe feels confident that he made the right decision. Sometimes I have this gendered image in my head of a sweet old woman, lonely and itching to reunite. But that image isn't real. Joe is not alone in cutting ties with his mother. Research shows that 1 in 5 UK families are touched by the same family estrangement and its consequences. On TikTok, over 30,000 videos have been posted under the, quote, estranged hashtag, while on Reddit, r/estranged adult kids subreddit gets 48,000 weekly visitors, up 47% from 2024. It has become an even hotter talking point in recent years, with a number of high-profile family rifts playing out in the public view. Prince Harry has reportedly had minimal contact with his father and brother since 2020. So you get the point here, right? Yeah. What is it about the culture that we live in now that has pushed people to abandon what we would have known for all of our life, for all of humanity, that is like your last bastion, right? Your family.
There's no better tradition than having that Thanksgiving dinner or lunch, and you just have the political blowout with all your family members there, and then you just have a turkey leg and you make up. Like, in that specific case, it seemed a little bit more abusive and toxic than I just disagree with you liking Boris Johnson or not. And
thank you for using a UK reference there. That was fantastic.
That was really good.
I know a little bit. They don't have Thanksgiving.
That
but,
Keir Starmer guy, fuck him.
That's
how you pronounce his name?
Keir Starmer.
Keir Starmer.
Yeah.
It's like kind of German, but not.
What are your thoughts on the concept of going no contact?
I actually it's unfortunate because I do think it's actually based on something that's real. It's a real reaction to something, because parents and kids increasingly so are like not on the same page whatsoever. They don't share the same worldview fundamentally. How do you maintain a relationship with someone that has a fundamentally different view of the world? Because I'm very fortunate. Even my extended family, we're all in agreement on basically everything. We're all the same religion. We're all the same political views broadly. So Thanksgiving is actually quite peaceful. We're just discussing how better we can support President Trump.
Well, not my house. I didn't say it was my house. I said the clips.
Right, but
the clips.
I sometimes I meet people. I know people, good friends personally, and them and their parents are on 2 completely different planets, and it's like that sort of, maybe it's not a hard break and you're putting it on TikTok, but there's a rift there, because it's like, what are you supposed to talk about? People always say oh, you're not supposed to talk about, there's anything, but you don't talk about at the dinner table politics and religion. But I'm like, those are the 2 things that actually require a level of alignment on, so that way you can actually evaluate the world in the same way. You can only discuss sports with your dad for so long. At a certain point, you need to discuss the world. So I think it's actually this is downstream from something very real. It's a bit obnoxious to post it on TikTok, but I don't think these people are necessarily crazy. I think it's just you're naturally going to drift apart from your parents. You're going to view them as toxic if they have a completely different
I guess my issue is when one of the things that happened when social media became a thing, really when hashtags became a thing, is everything got a name. So it used to be you just were estranged from your family. You didn't talk to them very often. Now it's it's an actual set line. You go, quote unquote, no contact.
Right.
And that actually puts up an even bigger psychological barrier where you can fall out of contact with your parents for a while, even for an extended period of time. Maybe you don't talk because you have differing political opinions. Maybe they just don't like the life you're living right now. That was certainly me at a certain point in my life. But if I had been like, my dad doesn't support me right now, I'm going no contact, then that actually becomes its own thing. It's like a lifestyle. When you have to then re-engage contact.
Yeah, we shouldn't be introducing therapist speak into your family affairs.
Yeah. I think, or I feel rather, therapist speak, is that just having discussion, you don't have to agree with the person, because I don't agree with a lot of my family, being a New Englander, and just having the ability to talk and just have discussions and be respectful is, that's probably the remedy. And I think a lot of these people are just immature and just crazy.
It's just I agree. It's just unfortunate that we're in a situation where if you are in that sort of arrangement with your family, then you're walking on eggshells the entire time while you're home. It's you're going to develop resentment, quiet resentment, I guess, to use therapist speak.
Well, there's a lot to it.
Against your parents or against your sisters or brothers. It's again, if you feel like you have to walk on eggshells the whole time, that's going to manifest. You're going to start to feel a little disgruntled. You're not going to feel like you can be yourself around them.
And it's not just immediate family, too. I have a lot of experience with this, which is, when I saw this, it kind of hit home. Because growing up, my family used to get together on the holidays and shit like that, but it wasn't always politics that they fought about, and it didn't always take very long for everyone to get into it, and then no one talked anymore. Well, eventually, that rift created a fault line that just everyone drifted apart, moved away, no one lives together anymore, no one does anything anymore. family doesn't talk to family. And we spent, as a kid, growing up with my aunts and all of that stuff, and the way that they fought about their resentment over the way that they were treated when they were siblings and they were younger, they were raised, their problems with their parents, that stuff, that all stemmed down to us. And when we got older, it kind of almost felt like distancing yourself from them was the healthiest thing you could do mentally for yourself, because you weren't feeling the drag of all this insane shit going on with your family. You didn't feel like you were part of it anymore when you had been just basically dragged through it your entire life. So that was a big thing for me, and that's why there's a lot of family that I have that I don't talk to anymore, because I just got tired of the emotional drag that they were putting on me. I have enough of my own fucking problems, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to deal with this shit for my entire life, and I'm an adult now, so I have the ability to step away, right?
Yeah.
I can contact you if I want to talk to you.
Because you hear about these, again, I'm not trying to flex, but I can't really relate to it. But you hear these arrangements where kids are put into, where, you know, the classic trope is like, oh, the parents are like longing to keep this relationship with their children, but the children push them away. But you're not really seeing that arrangement as much anymore. At least it's not a given. You're seeing a lot of situations where the parents, they're boomers, and they get so addicted to network television. They get so addicted to MSNBC or now MS Now or whatever it's called, where they literally view their child as like an adversary, and it's really a tragic situation. So I think this is a two-way street. I think there's a lot of instances where the parents literally all they can talk about is whatever they saw on network television. You see this happen quite a bit, and it's like, how do you develop a relationship with someone that's just regurgitating Rachel Maddow points all day?
A lot of, you know, you get to a point where your parents aren't even leaving the house. You know, my parents are like that. They don't leave. They go to work. My mom works from home. She never leaves the house, you know, and I don't know if it's like an agoraphobia thing at this point or if she's just comfortable with being there. And I'm not going to go too much into it, but like, it's one of those things where I'm just like, you know, like you should really get out and see the outside world once in a while instead of just all the shit that's being fed to you, because you have this whole kind of skewed perceptive of the way, or perception of the way that things are happening. And I can tell you it's just not like that out there, because I'm out there every day. You know, like,
absolutely.
I don't know how to explain it to you, but then
touch grass. There
can be like a straight direct shut off in that conversation of she's just fed up or she's irritated. I don't want to deal with it. Fuck you. I don't like your opinion. I know I'm right. You know, there's a lot of hard-headedness that goes into conversing with my mom about stuff like that. And when it comes right down to it, there's times where I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go back home and I'll see you when I see you. And I don't talk to my mom for like a month, you know, just over petty shit. You know, it seems so worthless.
I guess for me, the weirdest part about it is like, I'm the opposite. I'm very good at just, if they don't want, if they have those beliefs, I won't bring it up. I don't want to talk about it. It's never mattered to me. To me, I feel like there actually should be something deep down where it's like that familial connection should be so strong that you can get past that and you have other things that you can talk about. And I've had the same thing true with friends as well too, because like when your entire life has been based around skating, like you have something that tethers you to people that has nothing to do with any of this stuff, so it never mattered. And what that always resulted in was I was like, look, I don't want to argue with them. It does not matter to me. They would have their stuff they wanted to say. I would let them say it. Didn't bother me.
It turned into let's just go skate.
But the problem is that third rail sort of thing.
That got me.
Everybody gets to be in studio when it happens. It's easier with the headphones. Professional derailing. Continue.
That got me. That caught me off guard. That one got me.
That was the signal that shit is getting too serious in here. I think is what that was. Like, all right, break this shit up, guys.
Continue.
But yeah, it was right. But so that third rail that you're talking about, where you have to have this like again this something extracurricular that you can connect with people over. The problem is it's a two-way street. So it's one thing like if you sort of accept that and you're like, I would like something else that me and my parents can break bread over. But if they don't accept that, I think that's what you're seeing now is a lot of parents are just so hopped up on politics. That's all they find any value in. Like I have a really good friend, and they have a kid. He's getting older now. He's like 6 or 7, he has been like having these, you know, these just like oh, I think what if I want to dress up as a girl today? And then his parents are like, oh no, you can't do that. You're a boy. These sorts of things. His parents found out about this and they're like scandalized that he's not sort of entertaining his child's interest in like exploring his gender. The grandparents are like boomer libs, and that creates a rift. So it's like it's one thing to ignore it, but at a certain point, like that's their grandkids. They have a certain degree of like they care about what happens to them, and so now it's caused this huge rift between him and his parents. So it's like, again, politics never came up in his house. He purposely, because he knew it would start a fight, he would never bring it up. But now that it's manifested into like an actual, like a decision needs to be made, now it's caused this rift. It's like, so I mean, it'd be great if they could talk about football all day. That's what his strategy was, is they just talked about football. And then as soon as, you know, a kid comes along.
So what did they? So then I guess the question is, like, maybe we have like a recency bias here. Like, I don't know if necessarily talking politics would have been something 30 years ago that everybody would have done all the time. There would have been other things to talk about.
Well, because 30 years ago, the disagreements would have been on like tax policy or
If that,
tariffs.
I don't even like.
I don't even know if it would have been that.
I
Like,
think
it's like
growing
I
up-
think you lived in more of a monoculture, so there was
That's what I mean.
more stuff
There
to
was-
talk about. Like you talk about Indiana Jones and Star Wars rather than and football.
The
MTV
political
top 10.
the political disagreements weren't like existential. They were like, they were fair. I mean, they were going that way. They were trending that way. But like it wouldn't have been. Everyone would have been like in agreement that a kid should like identify with the gender that he's born as. It wouldn't be a hot button topic.
It wasn't in the front of mind because, you know, I think I'm the oldest. Brett, are you older than me?
I'm 39.
You're a little older than me. So we live in the same. You look young though. But like when we grew up, like the only political things that were really front of mind was 9/11, and then like the political atmosphere that we live in now probably didn't start until what, 2012 ish.
I'd go a little bit later than that.
But that's what I'm saying,
It started in
ish.
2012 when your phone got the internet in your pocket.
That's what I'm
full
saying.
time.
Like it's slowly, like, but you wouldn't go and be like, man, did you see that clip from the president yet, or whatever?
Yeah.
Like nobody. That's not
Just
commonplace.
from like my like
now.
outsider anthropology, it seems like about 2015 is when you started to see families
Yeah, it
get
was getting
divided.
there around Obama era. I feel like
Obama
is where it kind
era,
of started
like,
for us
yeah.
because in Chicago, like so he was sworn in there,
Yeah.
Right.
you know, and then obviously, you know, Usama and all that shit that happened. It was just kind of one of those things where it was like, all right, now it's, you know,
Yeah, like the
kinda
seeds
starting
were
to turn
being
my head a little
set
bit,
in
yeah.
Obama, and then as soon as Trump comes along, that becomes the
That
thing.
was a
Like,
big
do
one.
you
Or-
denounce? Do you not denounce? And that starts splitting families up.
Or I see Pete in the chat says Building 7, bro. Or you had one of those kids that was like talking about Building 7.
Yeah.
There was somebody in my middle school that was talking about it. We're like, what are you talking about, dude? And we're like 6th grade. He just kept going off. I was like, all right.
wait,
whatever.
Brett, when did you turn 39?
I'm gonna be 40 in July.
Hey.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
What day?
2nd.
Oh, wait, no, Brandon's older than me.
I'm the oldest one in this room, apparently. I will be 40 on June 22nd.
Boom!
There we go. Old
So
man,
our birthdays are like a week apart.
Old
There
man
you
Brandon.
go.
Old man Brandon.
That's crazy. Me and Brett were born like 8 days apart.
Yeah, there you go.
Unbelievable.
All right, guys. What would you?
Unbelievable.
Actually, you know what? I didn't do. So this is the thing. Mary, when I'm not here, she will not show people cue to the day.
Really?
We
She
got to
does-
do cue to the day.
So we don't. So when she's not here, I don't do cringe of the day to give everybody a break, so that they don't have to
Right.
deal with something cringe other than me. I'm the cringe in the room. That's fine. But we do still do cue to the day because everybody, and I do mean everybody that has pets, likes to brag about their pets. Here we go. Today we have from Jason Martell. Says Lucy for cue to the day because she has been looks maxing and mogging the other cats since she was
Wow.
born. Yeah, but is she gesture gooning? That's the
Is
real
she?
question.
What is Jester
Mr.
gooning?
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 You'd have to ask
Yeah.
clavicular. I have no idea.
I'm asking Tate on
I
that.
posted a tweet yesterday about like because apparently clavicular got off. Johnny
What?
Cochran got him off, no charges.
It's unbelievable.
And I was like,
Phrasing.
I was like mogging the Lagooners by acquittal maxing. I just put a bunch of words together.
Yeah, I always thought Trump was the guy that's like, oh, this is the end, the walls are closing in, and then nothing ever happens. Now clavicular, we finally found someone else that has the same blessing where you see something happen, you're like, surely this is the end. Clavicular. And then he
He's
comes out
had his
stronger.
15 minutes.
Yeah, he comes out stronger.
That is a cute
There was
kitty.
like a video the other day of like him where he's talking about how his mom tried to take away his like face smashing hammer, and he just looks like he's never done a day's blue collar labor in his life. He looks like he's never like handled or actually swung a hammer before.
They've asked him before, like, why do you think, like, at its core, are you into this? And he's like, I'm neurodivergent. Like, I literally, there's something wrong with me. That's why I
Well,
do
at
this.
least he's honest about it, right? All right, guys. If you want to submit your pets for Cue to the Day, go on to X, tag me in there at Brett Dasovic, and use the hashtag PCCPets. That hashtag, I know hashtags don't supposedly work anymore, but that always makes sure that I find my way to your post, so you can do that there. And also, we have a very special guest coming in for episode 1000's Cue of the Day. Make of that what you will, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Let's talk about Britney Spears, since I'm 39 and Brandon's 39, and we're all of us
old.
but Tate are old enough to remember Britney Spears in in her prime of her career. It looks like Britney Spears has sold her entire music catalog. This is something that Justin Bieber did very recently, I believe, for about $200 million. And the reason I brought this up is because I was wondering, like, there was a whole thing about Taylor Swift selling her masters, right? How are these artists actually selling their, their catalogs when I was always under the impression that they didn't own their catalogs. She sold it to a company called Primary Wave. They have bought a ton of different artists' music rights for about $200 million. That's what the estimate is. Apparently the contract had no information on it, but they believe it would fetch about the same as Justin Bieber's would. But the thing is, she can't actually sell her own catalog because Sony owns it. So what she can sell is the rights to her royalties for the catalog. So it says, I'm going to put this article up on screen here. This is from Variety. Britney Spears has sold her song catalog and an unclear number of other rights to Primary Wave. Two sources confirmed this to Variety. Reps for both Spears and Primary Wave declined to comment from Variety. Details were unclear and likely under ironclad non-disclosure agreements, but TMZ estimated the deal to be in the low 9 figures. It seems safe to assume that Spears' artist royalties and publishing rights were included in the deal. The TMZ report, which is based on legal documents that the publication says it has viewed, states that she sold her, and this is the quote, ownership share of her catalog. And then again, this is to Primary Wave. It notes that the prices were not included in the legal documents. Sony Music owns and controls the rights to Spears' entire recorded music catalog, so it seems likely she sold the rights to her artist royalties. She has songwriting credits on nearly 40 of her songs in her catalog, although few of them were major hits apart from the ballad Every Time and fan favorites like Me Against the Music, S&M, Work Bitch, and others. It seems extremely unlikely that Spears' NIL rights, that's name, image, likeness if you don't like college sports, and you don't know what they're talking about there, it seems extremely unlikely that her NIL rights were included in the deal unless it was for exponentially more than the price TMZ speculates. There are any number of options for exploitation of catalog, including the forthcoming biopic based on her memoir, The Woman in Me, which landed at Universal Pictures in 2024, a jukebox musical based on her hits, Once Upon One More Time. That's what it is. Once Upon a One More Time. Premiered on Broadway in 2023. She has not released an album since 2016's Glory. And also she said she's never performing again in the United States of America.
Really?
So I got to wondering, with a high net worth, why would she do this? Why would she sell her music catalog at all? Or in this case, sell her rights? This was interesting. Britney Spears says the IRS wants $600,000 from her. They said she is $600,000 deficient, which means I can add her to my wall of tax heroes if she is in fact not paying the IRS the money that they're stealing from her, because that's what it is, it's theft. According to new legal documents obtained by TMZ, the IRS sent Britney Spears a notice of deficiency for the tax year ending in 2021, claiming that she owes $600,000. Spears is disputing that figure, and she filed her own legal response claiming that they miscalculated, and she owes them not so much as a dime. So between taxes and the fact that many people likely stole much money from her during all those years she was under conservatorship, what do you think? It's purely financially based, or was there another reason?
So she owed $600K, so she got $200 million. That's like a little overkill.
I don't think she got 200 mil.
I'm
Low
saying
9 is 100 mil. So if anything, she got like half of what Justin got, I think is what they're saying.
Yeah.
Low
Okay.
number. Okay, no, but that's not the
Either
point.
way.
The point is, it's a sign for mismanagement of money. And between all the videos of her where she looks insane, she's juggling knives, she's dancing in her living room.
Yeah, she's not in this state to be making these long-term decisions.
I was going to argue, be like, well, she didn't have these. I don't think they mismanaged it before in the conservatorship. I think they did it right, and now she's mismanaging it because she doesn't know what to do.
Can I
with
just
it.
take the really unpopular opinion here? When I see Britney Spears, like how she behaves, like with the knives, and she's like got her low-rise panties, and she's dancing around and stuff, and she's acting like a crazy person. Part of me is like,
She is a crazy
maybe
person.
her dad like was doing the right thing.
He was right. The conservatorship was right.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing: a lot of people that was Mary's take right from the beginning. They're like, she's clearly nuts.
Yeah.
she should be under care from people.
Like
and
her
then,
dad's probably like a normal guy.
Filed his
and then
taxes
that-
right.
Yeah, he probably gets his taxes right.
Didn't have to worry about this. I'm just saying.
they didn't have Charles.
She's a crazy person.
So it says that she joins a growing list of artists who have sold their music catalogs in recent years. Acts like Justin Bieber, Bruce Springsteen, Bob Dylan. Well, Bob Dylan should have to pay you for taking his music,
for
as
real.
far as I'm concerned. Paul Simon, Neil Young, Shakira, Kiss, Sting, Phil Collins, Stevie Nicks. Stevie sold an 80% stake in her publishing catalog to Primary Wave back in 2020. The crazy thing is, they still, like, the TMZ article estimated 200 million like Justin Bieber. That does 200 million isn't even the same 200 million it was back when Justin sold it, right? So it's devalued significantly from there. Well, you're like, I would ask you, because you're an actual, like, you're a musician for sure. Like, the idea of selling something that was like that much of a cultural touchdown for America, but is also part of who you are, like, would you take the same route? Like, assuming you were in her shoes, do you sell it or do you keep it?
$200 million bucks.
It depends on the ties and the reasoning. I mean, you know, there is a such thing as cashing out at one point where you're kind of like, okay, you know what? I'm over this shit. I'm done with it. My career's over. I'm going to settle all of this so I don't have people coming to me every 3 years and sending me requests to use my songs in movies and shit like that if I own the rights to that. If I don't, then the record companies and everybody else are handling that, but my image is still being tossed around, right? So it's like, I feel like it's one of those things where eventually, you know, like the Stevie Nicks thing, all that stuff, 2020, she's getting to the end of her career. She probably just is done, you know.
Doesn't want to bother anymore.
She busted her ass her entire career, made a hell of a career for herself, and it's one of those things where at a point you're just like, you know what, here, you take all of this shit, you carry the torch down the line for the rest of this. I'm going to go live the rest of my life, you know. And in other cases, it's, hey, I'm, you know, fucking broke and this close to living on the street in Hollywood, and you know what, I got this, I'm not using it anymore, I'm going to cash it in. You know?
To me, it seems like you know the story is in Chicago a few years ago where they needed some money quick, so they sold they basically sold all of the parking meters in the entire city for about,
they privatized it,
for
right?
about $9 billion to I think it was Qatar or the Saudis.
There's a 20 here really quick.
They've already lost their ass after like 10 years.
There's a 20 here from Shane H. Wilder. Says, my dad kept up with politics. We'd talk about it, but we were both conservative, so we would move to other things. My mom's conservative, but doesn't pay attention to anything unless I mention it to her, probably for the best.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, if you guys agree, like my parents agree, so we actually don't really talk about it much because we're like probably going to broadly agree on everything.
Then that's the crazy thing. Like, that means you move on to other stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
So you should find a way with the people you disagree with to move on at the same rate to something else.
Well, I mean, look, people are like solutions oriented, especially men. So if your father disagrees with you on politics, you're just going to keep hammering on that until you come to an agreement. It's just human nature.
I didn't have that problem.
So the other thing that I thought about is, so again, I mentioned earlier, I've been watching all of these videos about these various tech inventions that failed, mostly from big companies that you've heard of before. But a lot of times what you end up hearing is like, the amount of companies that Microsoft has purchased over the over its lifetime. To your point, Brandon, is like, that's what it is now. It's like everything just gets bought up by a growing, it's a growing number of conglomerates that are swallowing up all of the competition. And I think that actually contributes in a little bit of a way to the depressing world that we live in now, where everything is private equity, everything is owned by some faceless bureaucracy. And this isn't an argument to be like the government needs to get involved in this. I'm just saying, like, we talked the other day about, I watched this really great video about what brought about the 2000s aesthetic, meaning the extremely sleek, metallic, silver, and it was hope for the future, and it was all based around technology. But at that time, Microsoft was big, Apple was big, and coming, we were getting into iPhones and stuff like that, all of that. But now we're like, you just know that every company's going to get bought. Like, Meta's going to buy your company. Like, nobody's going to stick around on their own because eventually the offer is going to be too good to refuse.
You get this really depressing situation in Britain where every town you go to, no matter how small the town, there's like a 50% chance that the pub that's in town is going to be owned by Weatherspoons. So sometimes they like put it on the front, this is a Weatherspoons pub. I've had so many instances where me and my friends will go somewhere and it's like, it seems like this nice artisanal pub and you're like, wow, this is really cool. Like, how fortunate are we to have like found somewhere so cool? The menu comes out, you look at the bottom, it's Weatherspoons. And I'm like, that's a really dystopian future where not only, it's one thing if they own it and they tell you and it's outright, but it's like you're seeing now a lot of times where you go somewhere and you do think it's like a local place or something like a small business and it's actually owned by a larger consortium and you had no idea the entire time. That's going to start happening and it's happening in movies where now it's like, oh, this is like a smaller production team put this together. How impressive.
Nope.
And then you dig and it's like, oh, this is just like their JV team where they assign newer
well,
guys.
I mean, they've been doing that with big studios with imprints for decades. Touchstone Pictures.
Right.
Was Disney,
It's
like,
so depressing.
go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say, what hasn't been bought yet? I watched a video from the Fat Electrician the other day. It was Craigslist. It's they make $600 million a year.
How?
I don't know, but they do.
I still see.
But they could make a lot more, and they refuse to sell. And it's literally just the same thing.
That's awesome.
Their overhead's probably very low too. It's a
They
very
have like
simple
30
website.
employees or something like that.
That's shocking. They have that many. 'Cause
I
it's
was
like
like-
HTML.
I actually saw somebody like I watched this really funny video. I went down a rabbit hole of like LinkedIn culture.
Oh,
go.
jeez. That's so
I don't have a
cringe.
LinkedIn.
That's
But
cringe.
this
I
guy,
miss LinkedIn,
this
dude.
guy is like, look, if you're not like a high level professional and you're just looking for a job, like you go and apply for like a gas station now, and you got to do like a personality test.
Dude, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's like, go apply for jobs on Craigslist because
That's
if they're putting their job on Craigslist, you're not gonna have to go through the
Dude,
freaking.
I worked a few jobs off of Craigslist, and it's like there's a reason why. Because the way that the job is set up, there's no way that any government would sign off on the conditions that are there. Like it is like insane. Some of the things I put myself through because it's like I can get the job right away. You know, you're cooked when you interview for a job, and they're like, "Let's start right now."
Yeah.
You know it's
So,
over.
Tough
can
side.
you start?
All right.
Can you start like go onto the floor right
Yeah,
now?
literally. That's how you know it's over for you.
The thing with like LinkedIn and Indeed, like the job filling culture is, there's so many ghost listings.
Oh my god.
And
yeah.
they're filled internally, but they're just doing that to meet quota or to get revenue from whatever XYZ, and it's disheartening for people that are looking for jobs
Yeah.
because it feels helpless. And I don't know, it's just.
I think it's how everybody feels when you go looking the
Well,
amount
yeah,
of
just
stuff
in
and like
general,
nobody,
yeah.
you get no calls back and
Yeah.
Mhm.
like I got
It's a
I got
humiliation ritual.
before I started here, like I got very lucky because the business I was working at beforehand, I was working at a gas station, like closed during COVID, and then I like found a job immediately. Like I got very lucky, like right away, and didn't have to sit around and hope that unemployment was going to come. I was able to go right back to work. But then this job came along, and so I haven't had to do that since. But a lot of people are like, look, and to be fair, like I wasn't looking for some high level marketing job. I wasn't looking to work in an office or anything
Trying
like
to get a
that.
paycheck.
Like, I was just trying to make money, but like it's crazy and it's really demoralizing for people in those positions. So I am disheartened by, and it's weird because I'm like, I dislike government intervention as much as literally anybody else on planet Earth, but you just see the way in which big tech and conglomerates and private equity. Did you guys see the story the other month? I did a video on it on our channel. It was during Christmas about the company that's preventing families from recording hockey games because they have a streaming service to
I
film youth hockey.
Hate that as a hockey man.
Yeah.
That is stupid.
So
the
you
barn,
were-
the barn live.
You
What-
weren't, so this private equity firm bought up rinks and then has camera setups to do a streaming service. So if you want to watch your kids play hockey, you have to watch it on the fucking streaming service.
subscribe
and
to.
you can get in trouble for filming and disseminating anything shot at your own kids' hockey
Taking
game.
advantage of bad parents.
I say, if I was there, I would start a kerfuffle, and I would say, "Fuck that, leave me alone." If I really want to record the game, I'm not probably gonna record the game. That's not my thing. But if I wanted to put up my phone and be like, "Get a highlight of a breakaway," my one son's
It's
breakaway.
capitalistic, right? You're
Yeah.
at work. I can't go to my kid's game today. I'm out on a business thing. Hey, Dad, tune into the
Dude,
stream.
they're not having games in the middle of the week. I mean, I get it. I don't know. I'm
Your
not.
dad
saying,
is a bad person.
I'm
if
not
he's working
saying they
at
have
7 p.m. on a Friday.
That's a high
Some
school
of
game.
those, some of those dads do that, man.
My
I
dad
mean,
was a
I-
coach,
you know,
so.
I
Like,
wouldn't.
My parents
I'm-
couldn't always make it to my games. My stepdad was like a coach for like my baseball
No,
team,
you
so he was there a lot. But my mom was working nights. She was a bartender. She couldn't see shit. You know, like
I get it.
The joke for us, because I played hockey and baseball, the joke was if we were losing, the other moms would tell my mom to leave because I would only score when she wasn't there.
Bad juju.
wow.
Bad juju. So
bad
she'd have to
juju.
go outside, and then I would score.
Nice.
Yeah, good stuff. But again, private equity sucks.
Yeah,
So true.
that's ridiculous that they do that barn live stuff. I would lose my mind.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about Hollywood's decline. We're going to get into a little bit about the forthcoming possibility of strikes from three separate unions: Writers Guild of America, Directors Guild of America, and SAG-AFTRA, which is, of course, the Screen Actors Guild, all potentially going on strike again this year, despite the fact that they just lost billions and billions of dollars because of the 2023 strike, which got them a bunch of AI protections that, let's face it, did absolutely nothing to stop what is coming as far as Hollywood is concerned. They're also concerned with healthcare costs and all of these things. And now AI has expanded and blown up in the industry. We're seeing it used to make more and more things in Hollywood. I think a ton of the commercials for the Super Bowl were AI driven, if not made by AI entirely. I'm going to show you guys a couple of videos that were put out, and I think you'll get a kick out of some of these. I don't think that these are indicative of like the end of Hollywood, but it is funny to watch stuff like this get made. Because it does freak a lot of the actors and the creators out. So this is the first one where Brad Pitt fights Tom Cruise because he thinks Jeffrey Epstein is a good guy.
It's just misunderstood.
Yes.
You killed Jeffrey Epstein, you animal! He was a good man! He knew too much about our Russia operations.
I don't think that actually sounds too much like Tom Cruise.
It didn't. Brad Pitt was pretty spot on.
Yes.
Though.
Brad Pitt was
He
good.
had to die, and now you die too.
Yeah, that was more of a villain voice, which
Yes.
Tom Cruise doesn't really do.
Yeah, well, Collateral.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Ethan Hunt versus John Wick.
This one's great.
This one's
Yep.
a good one.
That move right there is nuts.
And then it tells
is
you
funny.
what prompts he
Yeah.
used
The
to
slow
make it.
mo. If you go back to the slow mo of him reacting to the gun, like that's totally what Tom Cruise would do. Like
Yeah.
that. Like if you go to actually him reacting with the gun coming to his face, like that's perfect.
Think about not having to spend 3 weeks making this scene.
Like
Or
right
the
there,
amount of
like,
money
that's
that
the
it
same
takes to
face he
pay
would
those
make.
actors for those 3 weeks of being on set just to get that scene perfect.
Yeah.
The other thing that I saw recently, we did a video on this quite a while back, that it still doesn't get right, is you don't actually see his finger pull the trigger. It's just, at least it's inside the trigger guard. The one we were watching last time was these dudes with long guns, and they weren't even their fingers were outside the trigger guard. The gun was still firing, and stuff like that. But to the point, that was like 6 months ago.
But
and
in
give it
terms
6
of
more
like what
months.
your editors are going to have to take care of after a raw film, if all they got to do is go in and change a couple little things like that, which they could actually have AI correct, like, hey, change it to make it look like he actually fires the gun.
Here's Wolverine versus Thanos.
Fatality.
I wasn't ready for that. It sounded just like Hugh Jackman grunting too, though.
Well, they got a lot of examples of it. So here's the thing. Hollywood as a whole is terrified of AI. That's why the only thing they say more than fuck ICE is fuck AI. It's like there's like this weird part of people's brains that when you're really scared of something, you start to short circuit and you go straight to swear words.
Yeah, you
and
get
for
violent.
some reason, normally very, very, I guess, well-spoken people suddenly have to start swearing all the time because they're so angry at either ICE or at AI. And this is kind of illustrated here by this article where now if anybody remembers the story about Tilly Norwood, the AI created actress that they're claiming is going to take over Hollywood. I don't think anybody actually believes that. I think they're looking for seed money to keep going with all of this stuff. Apparently, the creator of Tilly Norwood is getting disturbing death threats these days. It says, as the creator of the controversial actress Tilly Norwood, it's Aline van der Velden. I think that's how you pronounce it. I apologize if I'm wrong. She's become the subject of scrutiny and worse. Just moments before signing on to our Zoom call, she received a death threat, one of many she's been getting these days, and had to phone the police to file a quick report. Now, I fully believe that it's possible that this lady's making this up and doing so for the publicity of all of these things. But it's very clear to me right now that Hollywood is seeing a massive decline in the way that movies are. Like, yes, there are the exceptions of like the Lilo and Stitches or the Moanas that are going to make $1 billion at the box office. But right now, Avatar, it's at the tail end of its run, and it's down about $600 million from the previous movie, or 500 or between $400 to $600 million less than the prior films made, right? And that movie cost $400 million to make. And James Cameron is one of the most forward-thinking when it comes to AI in the industry. He's not afraid to talk to you about the idea of like what it can do for creatives down the line, because he knows that he's entrenched financially in Hollywood. He can't be kicked out or blacklisted by taking the opposing perspective. But for the most part, what you're looking at is still slop. But that doesn't mean that Hollywood isn't in decline. We are now looking at what's going on with the strike going on. SAG-AFTRA and studios kick off 2026 contract talks. Nolan leads the DGA, that's the Directors Guild of America. Healthcare is the biggest priority for all three guilds in this bargaining cycle. The WGA, the DGA, and SAG-AFTRA health and pension plans have all operated in deficits the last few years to cover rising healthcare costs amid a dramatic decrease in employment. So right now, there's stories about the lots are literally empty in Hollywood. It's too expensive to make things here in America now because of all the restrictions and regulation, especially in the state of California. They just enacted all of these massive tax credits to be given to productions that are supposed to go into effect this year. But that was basically Gavin Newsom dragging his heels until he was forced to make those changes. And it looks like Hollywood is part of this dying infrastructure where now, when you think about it, Hollywood actually, it engenders an idea. Like, the idea of Hollywood isn't necessarily a place. The idea of Hollywood is big budget movie making in America, but they're not making the movies here anymore. The great majority of them are being filmed overseas. There's the video clip from years ago of like Rob Lowe, I think, on this podcast talking about how he did a game show in America, except it was filmed in Ireland. Because they couldn't, it was all American contestants. It was an American game show played in America, but they had to film it in Ireland because it was too expensive to film it in California.
I know Vancouver's another big spot for a lot of movies.
Atlanta.
Atlanta's big.
Macon, I think.
Vancouver's big, especially for TV. Like all the CW shows are filmed in Canada.
Didn't Trump say he was going to make Hollywood great again or something like that?
Well, I don't know if that's possible. I literally don't know if it's possible.
Don't they film a lot of street scenes that are supposed to be New York and like Pittsburgh?
I mean, that's possible.
They do a lot of New York scenes in fucking Chicago.
They did the Ghostbusters. They did the women's Ghostbusters in Boston. And
oh, really?
It was supposed to be in New York. I was walking home from work one day, and all of a sudden I see all these New York taxi cabs, and I'm like, the hell am I? And I walked onto a movie set, not really realizing it.
Very few things actually get filmed in California, and stuff takes place in New York, but it's set in New York there. There are shows like Castle was filmed in Los Angeles, but it was supposedly taking place in
like upstate
New York City. No, New York City. So
well, I remember
it was like Gotham City.
When you live in New York, like you'll see pretty routinely, you'll come across like a block that's been shut down by the New York City tourism or whatever because they're filming something there.
Just Law and Order.
And it happened a lot more when I lived in Queens and Manhattan. Like Queens, they actually like the areas around me would shut down quite often for filming. Manhattan, it was like rare when you'd roll up on
a lot of superheroes in Queens and Brooklyn.
Yeah.
They were talking about how North Carolina used to be a huge hub for that because they were talking about Dawson's Creek and how the show is filmed in North Carolina. A lot of movies used to be filmed in that part of North Carolina. I think it was I forget the city that was in. But the point is like somebody mentioned Atlanta. Atlanta has its own film studios.
Walking Dead, right? That's what they did all that stuff. What about Outer Banks? That's North Carolina?
I don't know. That could be Canada. I don't know.
It's based in North Carolina, though, right?
But
I was gonna say it looks like it's here somewhere. Yeah.
But the thing is, like all the shows in the 2010s that supposedly took place in like the show Haven was supposed to be in Maine. It was absolutely filmed in Canada. Just on the water in Canada out there. But what do you do? Because everybody in the industry is terrified. They have to go out of their way to virtue signal now. They have to basically prostrate themselves before the industry and say, hey, look, I hate AI too. I hate this too. Yet the industry feels like it's never been smaller, despite the fact that the weird thing is more stuff is made now than ever before. But somehow everybody's out of work.
Right.
Like there's never been more streaming services. There's never been more productions being greenlit. At least that's the way it feels, right? So it's like the point I always make is like there's the same amount of good creatives as there was in the 90s when everybody thinks entertainment was peak. Because those people a lot of them are still working today. Because especially if they were on the younger side. Vince Gilligan, the dude who does Pluribus, which everybody loves.
Good show.
Even if you are, one of those weirdos who likes Apple TV and you're a communist, that's your own business.
I'm not communist.
He got his start on the X-Files and earlier. So we're going all the way back to the early 90s, like 1992.
The X-Files, really?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't create. Chris Carter created the X-Files.
I know, but I didn't know he was a writer.
Try not to
he's
mention
Breaking
the
Bad.
X Factors Challenge Impossible X-Files.
The what?
The X-Files.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that's fine.
It's the calling card.
I played. I was watching an episode last night, and Chloe, our cat, heard the theme for the first time and like jumped out of her skin. It scared the shit out of her.
Really?
Yeah. She
was
creepy
song, man.
Yeah.
I need to watch the X. It's because you reference it a lot, and it's like
Good show.
And and a lot of people like say it's the greatest.
It was a big deal back in the day.
I don't know anything about it.
It's a good reference point because of how long ago it was, and it
Yeah.
retained cultural relevance. So it's like, and a lot of the people who worked on that show are still working today. Like James Wong and all of those guys are all still active in Hollywood.
Aren't they doing?
It is
a reboot?
fascinating when you watch like a low budget movie from like the late 90s, early 2000s, and is littered with like future A-listers.
Yep.
But they weren't at the time.
What's the?
I mean, like American Psycho has everyone in it, but at the time, like a lot of those people were like fairly unknown.
Road Trip. Road
Yeah.
Trip's a great one.
Seth Green ends up in episode 2 of the X-Files.
Wow.
There we go.
Like in 1992. Yeah, there's very early, not Paul Walker, the dude from Giovanni Ribisi shows up in an early season. So like a lot of those actors, especially if they're Canadian, got their start there. That's the funniest thing about the show too, is listening to all of the people try to do American accents, and they're just the most Canadian sounding people you've ever heard in your entire life.
I got a throwback. I was watching Varsity Blues last night. Throwing it back to
Oh,
JVB.
because of James Vanderbeek.
But guess who plays the young child actor, the little redhead? He's the what was that word? Begonia, the bad guy, the guy with the.
But you don't know the actor's name?
I don't know his name, but he's very probably. He was in Breaking Bad. Everybody hated his character in Breaking Bad. You know what I'm talking about? Oh,
You have to look it up.
I'm a fact check. Everybody knows who
I was
it
gonna
is.
say you'd have to cite the specific character reference that you're
But
making for Breaking
the
Bad.
point is Hollywood is in the decline, and yet they've been bought out by these. They're basically run
Jesse
by
Plemons.
Jesse Plemons. Oh yeah.
He was the kid.
He's a big deal now.
He was the kid when in Varsity Blues. He's like, you can't do it. You stink.
So
Oh.
like these companies, it's all owned by tech companies now.
Yeah.
It's all owned by Amazon. Like Amazon bought MGM. They're now in charge of James Bond. Now we're seeing Netflix is about to buy Warner Brothers with further consolidation. And they were trying to be acquired by Paramount. At least Paramount has been a company that's been around for ages and ages and ages. But in comparison to a company like MGM or a company like Paramount, Netflix is a child.
And it wasn't long ago when Netflix, like people were saying they're in trouble. It was a few years ago where they were like they're bleeding cash.
Netflix seems to me, from what I've seen, is the only one that from early on they knew that it wasn't going to work, that their business model wasn't going to work, because eventually, just like, has anybody ever heard the story that like Blockbuster, like they offered themselves to Blockbuster for,
famous
like,
one,
for like $50 million, and Blockbuster's like, no. Okay, Netflix learned from Blockbuster's mistake. They knew that the business model that they had as it currently ran in the early days back when they were making DVDs and then eventually started the streaming service, it was all licensed content from other companies. They knew eventually, as technology improved, everybody was going to want to start their own streaming services. And it actually took longer than most people think. It was really just because of COVID that really solidified people to start moving into that market more aggressively.
Yeah.
But they were already, they were putting themselves into debt making their own shows because they needed to make Netflix a place that you would go for something other than reruns of Seinfeld or something like that. But eventually those ones just hot potato. Seinfeld, not Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Curb's on it.
It's always on. Every time
Seinfeld.
you want to go watch it, it's on a different network.
Seinfeld, Community, what are some of the other ones that kind of run The Office. They kind of get every couple of years they get sold to another streaming service to use for a couple of years so they can use it as marketing material for them. But you're watching an industry that's dying.
What was Netflix's like first big show
Lilyhammer
that they produced?
Their big first attempt at like prestige television might have been Marco Polo, which was supposed to be like
good.
Game of Thrones, and nobody liked it except for me and apparently Charles.
I liked it, but then Lilyhammer was right after that with Steve Van Zandt, where he was the mobster going to Lilyhammer.
It was like a British show, right?
No. It was
No, I think
American Gangster. Steve Van Zandt. He's in witness protection, and they're like, where you want to go? He's like, I want to go to Lilyhammer.
They also had
bring
the Netflix Marvel shows.
Yeah.
Which like Daredevil.
Yep. That was a great idea, and that ended up paying off for them too when they were able to make that sale to Disney, because it was one of the last pieces that Disney had to acquire, which meant the ball was kind of in Netflix's court to be like, hey, you're going to pay us this or you're not going to get it.
And then they got Breaking Bad too. They got the rights.
The movies.
No. I'm saying being able to put it like Seinfeld in The Office.
Yeah.
They got that. They were one of the first.
But like they did the movie. They did like El Camino.
Oh, and then they did do
El.
El Camino as well. Yeah, that was a Netflix exclusive, but that was later after COVID.
Where was Better Call Saul? That was on regular television, right?
I
that
think that was
They-
AMC.
AMC,
It was
that- yeah.
AMC, but then it went to Netflix not long
Yeah.
after.
Yeah.
They moved a bunch of stuff around after that. That's
Why,
where
what
stuff
was
kind of started.
AMC?
moving.
I'm sorry. What was AMC's incentive to start making shows? Because they're
Hell
just
on
a movie
Wheels.
theater company.
Hell on Wheels is awesome.
AMC was Hell on Wheels was the early one.
That was the
But
Walking
why
Dead.
would
Hell
they
on
need to
Wheels.
start making
They were
their own?
already a television channel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a
Sons of
TV
Anarchy.
channel.
They
Sons
got
of
Sons of Anarchy too, right?
great,
Yeah,
yep.
it was just one of those
Right, yeah,
things
they
where they
were.
just had all these exclusive
Sunday
shows that
nights-
everyone was addicted to.
Sunday nights were awesome. It was
Yeah.
like Sons of Anarchy, Breaking Bad, Walking Dead. Hell
At
on,
that time-
Change over to Game of Thrones on HBO like later.
Yep.
But that was even that was like that
was
was
later.
paid, right?
Yeah.
So that was like what you're mentioning is actually like the golden age of basic cable,
Yep.
which was like USA Network, or at least I say that.
TNT.
FX. Not, I mean, I wouldn't even necessarily because TNT is
They didn't
kind
have
of
original
like,
stuff.
CW was still hitting back then too, for crying out
so
loud.
FX, AMC, TNT, if you want to put that in there, USA
kinda.
Network, like a lot of them were trying their hand at putting out,
Mm-hmm.
like even like A&E tried to make Longmire, and then Longmire got bought by
Yeah.
by Netflix because they're like, why is like the Home Improvement channel putting out original series?
Yeah.
Right.
It's like everybody had to try and make their own series at the time, and people didn't realize how good they had it at the time, but it was still somewhat contained, right? It was still somewhat contained by 4 or 5 big cable channels. You had the 2 or 3 paid stations like HBO,
Stars.
Showtime, Stars. Even Stars is like on the lower.
Stars is like low, but there's that one.
Power was the
City
only
on the
thing-
Hill. City on the Hill is a good one.
Power was the only show that I watched
I like-
on Stars, and I didn't watch it on Stars. I watched it on ad-free Tubi.
Ah.
Yes,
What was Bar Rescue on Spike TV?
So like it was a golden age and it's past now, and now it's just again it's all slop now.
Yeah.
It's all.
'Cause I don't watch TV.
There was there
There's
There was
there
a-
is no TV anymore.
I
It's
watch
just streaming.
I watch Everybody Loves Raymond reruns, Seinfeld reruns, Frasier reruns. That's it.
American Dad,
And
I
then
watched-
sometimes the playoffs for basketball.
basketball sticks.
I
That's
watched
it.
this clip the other day. I've never like my mom loved the George Lopez show. I never watched it. I would see random episodes like walking by when I would see her. And there was this clip the other day of like George Lopez, his identity has been stolen in the state of California, and he finds this other guy, and apparently he's the only other George Lopez in the state of California. And the whole comments are like, am I supposed to believe that there was only 2 George Lopez's in California? Him and Lou Diamond Phillips. So yeah, and to your what you said earlier about you look at old stuff and you see stars that end up becoming famous years later. That's still true in a lot of ways. When you watch a movie now, the actors you see in secondary roles are almost always stars of television shows. They're just not movie stars.
Yeah.
So, like, one of my favorite shows right now is High Potential, though I haven't watched the second half of season 2, but that's got Daniel Sunjata in that. Daniel Sunjata was like a flunky in The Dark Knight,
Okay.
but he's a legitimate actor in his own right. So when you, like, if you watch enough movies and TV, eventually you're like, oh, like, man, that guy is like, he's like a big shot of the television show, and he's just like an extra in
guy.
this. Like, he's just some.
See, I get excited when it's like the random people. Like when I was
Yep.
watching Marty Supreme, and then Kevin O'Leary had like a primary role in it. I got
He was
so
great.
excited.
Kevin O'Leary
He
was awesome. It's kind of like the
I soy
to talk
faced
about
when I
the,
saw
the
Oh, the Talk Tank guy! I'm out. I'm in. I don't know.
Chuck
Just glad to see you.
actually looked at where you were pointing to
I
make
did,
sure
I
there
was like,
wasn't a
"What's
guy.
over
He's
there?"
like, wait, who?
Kevin
I
O'Leary.
did. I got goofed.
Wait, I gotta find you. I'll see if I can find it during Super Chat. Watch this video of this lady where they do this thing where like we didn't like Marty Supreme. Table tennis in the 50s. I don't know about that.
Do you think like a cut rate movie they're gonna try the same thing and bring like Robert Herjavec out and make like they're like, oh, clearly it worked out for Marty Supreme bringing Kevin O'Leary, so they're gonna get like one of the other sharks, but like no one cares about
Mark
Robert
Cuban?
Herjavec. No, Mark Cuban would be cool, but like
The lady one would be
yeah, Barbara Clarkran
Barbara.
comes out.
There is a certain type of
Damon
like
John.
those type of stars who just end up like there'll eventually be a world where like Guy Fieri shows up in everything.
His commercial was
someday.
great.
What's
for
the
Super
thing where
Bowl.
now he's like cleaned his
He busted
Parents
up into Happy Gilmore too. He's another
Did
one that
he?
just popped
Yeah.
up
His
in Happy
face
Gilmore.
is
So I'm like, what the
shaved
hell?
now.
Like,
Did you see that where his face is shaved and he like grew his hair?
That was
out?
the commercial.
Oh, it was a commercial.
It was a commercial for
Okay.
the DoorDash or Uber Eats or something like that.
So
All
much
right.
going. So much.
It
to
was
keep
perfect
up
though.
with.
It was fine.
It's overwhelming.
Wow.
All right, guys, let's go to Super Chats. We got some to get through here. Let's get to a second crisis party, ladies and gentlemen. We can't have Boys Cast in it. Actually,
Boys.
Boys Cast is Ryan Long's podcast, so that's copyrighted.
Uh-oh,
We
you
can't,
gotta get boxed.
whoops.
Can't do that. First, here from Shane H. Wilder says, "Happy Testosterone Thursday, Brett, Tate, Brandon, and Charles." Phil from Wings of Pegasus did a vocal analysis of Kid Rock, and he did not lip sync. Oh, they went and did like a deep dive. They're like, oh man, that's too bad that they spent time on that.
Well, Posa was on last night talking about it.
How he didn't lip sync?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was just desynced or something like that.
I just refuse to live in a world where I have to pretend to care about Kid Rock.
I like Kid Rock. He's cool.
I can't. I just
doesn't do
I wanted to hear
It's
American
like,
Badass.
my point was like the fact that they didn't do American Badass
Yeah.
is almost more egregious than Bad Bunny having Ricky Martin on and not doing Living La Vida Loca.
That's
I'm just like it's like very. I'm just tough critic because there's very few musicians that I would get excited about being in the halftime show.
It's so
Prince was great. Even
Like, he did
Bruno
the-
Mars was great.
Bruno Mars is fantastic. I
Both
think that was
times.
the last great. Coldplay was all right.
Coldplay was good. At least I knew what they were saying.
You
Right.
guys didn't like Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake?
The first time was really cool. That was my first time. I was like, oh, titty. But
Oh, it was an accident. It wasn't supposed to happen.
I know. That's I was like, oh,
It's a wardrobe
We need to have
malfunction.
more
Chuck.
wardrobe malfunctions. Like
that was like
Timcast
5th
IRL.
grade. That was awesome.
Timcast IRL wardrobe malfunctions. That'd be nice. We should
Yeah,
bring-
even though that was clearly a titty cover that was designed to come off and expose the titty, there was a tassel
Wait, is that
underneath, which means
real?
premeditated.
True?
Don't ruin the nostalgia.
Is there a conspiracy theory here that I don't know about?
They've been
Stage?
saying it's a wardrobe malfunction for years.
I mean,
Yeah.
I read some things.
Decades.
Justin Timberlake turned, finished his move. When have you ever known Justin Timberlake to make a choreography mistake, by the way?
Never.
Never.
He's
Never.
white
So
excellence.
Never.
White
spins
excellence.
on dime perfectly, removes, looks away.
Didn't miss the tit.
And
It was
then
just bang.
Janet Jackson has absolutely no response whatsoever
was
to the
just
fact that
loving
her
it. She's like-
entire tit has just been exposed to the entire country
And it was cool.
most of the world. And she's just like, whoops, it was an accident.
And they
Like her-
showed it, right?
Yes.
She had a,
so-
pa- she had a,
Did
she
they
had a
punch
pasty.
it?
She had a
She had a
tassel over the
pasty.
nipple
She had
so
a
that it
pasty.
was TV safe, but
Yeah.
it was
It was not a malfunction.
it was
I
a
agree.
thing.
5-second delay, they would have very easily been able to remove.
That's why they kept it.
Yeah, They yeah. It was meant to be
Good television.
The thing with the halftime
the
show. I don't
world you grew up in is a lie.
Kid Rock is close stayed on the whole time.
I will agree with you on your Apple take though. They've ruined the halftime show, and they make it more instead of a performance, just a music video. So the show halftime, the past two, because Apple's done 2 of them, right?
It's not Apple, it's Jay-Z who does it. Right?
But I
Rock
thought it was
Nation.
produced by. I thought it was like Apple presents.
I thought
thing.
Usher was the last Apple one.
Oh well, then maybe I'm talking
It
about
depends
that.
on what if they sponsor one or something.
Well,
but I don't think
regardless-
Kendrick
it's
Lamar. No, yeah,
full-time.
it's still Apple. Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's not a performance for the stadium. It's literally just for like a music video.
Yeah.
And Kendrick Lamar, you could have got away with, but this one, it was literally just.
There's
The
camera.
Weekend one was also a music.
The Weekend
video.
one was sick though.
That was a music.
Yeah,
That was sick. The Weekend
The
was
production on that was pretty dope. I'll give them that this year's production was pretty intense. Like hats off to the guys who actually did the production for
But
this
for-
halftime show.
I'm so
was
glad there's
insane.
another person who understands when I'm like, I look at it and I can criticize it, but I'm like, but look at the amount of work.
What
Look
a
at
bunch
the
of people
people
around
that
us.
are
That's it.
working in the
Grass.
background.
I'm
I don't
not
give a
saying
shit about
that it-
Bad Bunny. You know,
I'm not
like,
saying it wasn't a great feat.
look
but
at
it
the
was
people that
just
busted their
bad
asses, the
product.
dancers. I mean, I love Latinas.
That's what you say when you did it.
I mean, speaking
So
of,
they were everywhere, and it
that's
was
what
just
you
like, I'm not going to
say.
turn into All American Halftime Show. There's no women whatsoever. It's just Kid Rock with
That's
long
a
hair.
salient point.
fair
You
point.
know.
But that's what you
Speak with
say when you
Latinas.
think that the product sucked. Is you're like, yeah, but they work so hard on it. Like when you go to like a school
It's
play,
not making excuses,
and it's
though, it's just
objectively
recognizing
terrible,
the
but you're
work.
like, oh, they work so
It's all
hard.
You're a
The product-
producer, though.
The product
Like-
sucked for the fans at in the game.
Yeah,
The
have you
people
seen
there.
the fan videos that people took from the sideline?
just
They're like,
confused.
they can't see over like
you can't see over the grass.
Yeah.
You don't even know where he is.
Yeah.
No, but the thing is, I say that same thing about things that I like too, because I'm like if something is technologically marvelous when you're watching it, right? Like me and you have discussed the Daredevil one shot hall fight
Yep.
scenes and stuff like that. Say it when it's good too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah.
And for live production, but that's like I have a.
It should be the show should be for the people in the stands.
Yes.
and then
Well,
everything
sure,
else.
Yeah.
sure, but you got to at a
can
certain
like
point when
Cole-
you realize your audience outside of the stadium is way more massive than the ones that are there that are
like,
paying the money.
They're lucky to get a camera.
Dude,
right,
like,
but they
you should
want
be-
those people to tune in. No,
Katy Perry and Lady Gaga both had tremendous halftime shows. Lady Gaga came down off the ceiling on a rope. Katy Perry. Did I?
She was like on a car.
Lady
wasn't it?
Perry.
Lady Perry. Katy Perry came in on like a lion thing, like a
Yeah.
big animatronic thing, which still was cool. You don't have to just do this one-shot close thing of just like.
Because also the halftime show is like a captive audience, so you don't really got to go that crazy. People will tune in.
And it's gonna be
Who's
on.
tuning away from the Super Bowl?
I mean,
No
what the heck
one.
with TPUSA
Well,
now.
until
now,
last week.
now.
We got a super chat. Well, I guess we have a Rumble rant over here on
Hey.
Rumble.
Whoa!
Shout out to everybody over on Rumble that is watching. Broody Gambit says Wilmington, North Carolina has lots of film. 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film there. Well, yes, of course, that's my second favorite movie of all time. Poster from it behind me. Talladega Nights in North Carolina messed up some tax benefits, so it shut down Swamp Thing. Got really screwed. That sucks too, because North Carolina's got some great, like it looks great on camera.
Yeah.
Right? Like it looks fantastic on camera. All right. Chief Corey Anderson says, I was told Vera Dark would be here. That is Tate.
Yeah, we got Tate.
I mean,
True.
yes. I mean, he could look like Vera Dark under
We don't
certain
want
light.
to. We don't want to assume.
Yeah. Good. Who knows? There's a lot going on.
2026.
Corey, that is 100% my fault. So I've been I texted Vera yesterday. I was like, so like, were we gonna do the show tomorrow or next week? I had to like look back at my messages. Too much scheduling going on, and I'm bad at multitasking, which is why this show is rough sometimes because I'm trying to multitask while talking. It doesn't always work. But Vera will be on next week. I will also be on her show. I believe that Wednesday. She does Vera and Virtue. Her and Wicked Virtue do a show. I'm going to be appearing there 9 p.m. Eastern on Vera's channel next week, and Vera will be on Thursday next week. So stay tuned for that. Shane H. Wilder says nothing wrong with Vega, but Tate is a patriot. Homie. I think he meant Vera. But Tate is a patriot homie as long as he isn't gooning in the voting booth. Yeah, you wanted to, so I saw that post last night. Can you tell me what that was about?
I don't really know. It just kind of happened.
Well, what was it?
Well, we were talking about voter ID, and then me and Jack just kind of had a moment. Just
A gooning moment together.
We were like, maybe I don't know if maybe voter ID was to prevent people from gooning in the voting booth. I gotta rewatch and see how that came about. I'm not entirely sure. And I don't know if that's something people are doing.
Well,
or
you
not.
shouldn't goon in the,
Not yet.
in the voting
You
booth.
started
I'm
the trend.
disavowing gooning in the voting booth. I think that's bad.
Okay.
People, I had a buddy, he worked at JFK, and he was like, the women, the breastfeeding pods, women aren't using them.
Who's using them?
Oh boy.
Yeah. So it's a big
Whoa.
people doing things where they shouldn't be is a big problem.
Draxion on Rumble said, wow, didn't know Amazon bought MGM. Fucked up women going to be Bond love interest. So that was the funny thing. I should have mentioned this during the show. Hollywood has become so absurdist that there was this post that was very clearly fake. Anybody with any level of internet literacy could tell that this isn't real, and all it took was like one Google search to know that no search results came up for it. But it said that Emma Corrin was going to be James Bond's non-binary love interest in the
Let's
next
go.
James Bond movie.
Nice.
And of course, I'm like, well, they haven't actually cast the next James Bond yet. So
I
don't
thought it
think
was
they-
Idris Elba.
No, it's not.
Was that
Idris Elba.
was that like just a thing?
That's everybody wants him to be that. It's gonna be the guy that's telling everybody.
Oh,
he's
so it
gonna
was
be
the internet
Bond.
just fucking with me. Okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Also, Draxian, if you want to see, there's a video on YouTube, loath as I am, for you Rumble viewers to suggest you something on YouTube. I know you guys hate that. I posted a YouTube link to something.
Oh, they come unglued.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
geez,
I was
don't
like,
do
look,
that.
I don't know if
Don't
this
do that.
video's on Rumble, but there's a video on YouTube from a creator named Matt Draper called "The Rise and Fall of MGM." It's absolutely like the history of MGM is fascinating. The amount of bad business decisions that one company could make, it'd still be a company for as long as it was, it's kind of fascinating. So you should go and check that out. It's really, really good. Corey Anderson says jester gooning is acceptable.
I don't know what that is.
You get behind that.
I still don't know what Jester Gooning is.
Well, that's because you're,
I'm a boomer.
yeah.
It's true.
All right. Greg Duvier says put a ghost on. Well, the ghost will be back on tomorrow,
It's good.
of course.
Mhm.
Chief Corey Anderson says it's nice seeing my fellow Armenian on the show.
What's up? Represent.
Can you say something in Armenian? too?
Bada Vinchkachiga.
Whoa, man.
Did you just say a bunch of like
Whoa,
graphic
man.
sexual
Just
lyrics like Bad
brutal
Bunny?
slurs.
No, I did not, but he'll know what I said.
What did he say?
Does it count as profanity if it sounds like profanity?
I think so. I think so.
I just
You
said
better
what-
watch
I-
it
I
there,
just said
Chucky.
what's up.
Did you? Is that what you said? Or was that like you're waking up a sleeper cell? Like now's
That's what
the
he
time.
wants you to think.
Find an Azerbaijani.
All I know is we're all against Dr. Oz
find an
right now.
Azerbaijani near you right now. It's time.
All this Dr. Oz stuff is driving me crazy. You're
Oh.
telling me a Turk's going over after Armenians in LA? Shocker.
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 Go figure.
I have no idea what any
Shocker.
of you just said.
Just ethnic feuds.
Dr. Oz is going after fraud in LA.
Wait,
and
I thought
he's-
he ran for office and lost.
but he's in the admin now, and he's targeting. He's not targeting, but a lot of Armenians are being affected. So you put two and two together.
Wait, he's not targeting who?
The Armenians,
Wait, why?
because he's Turkish.
Oh,
That's the thing. Dr. Oz is Turkish, and it's a whole thing.
He's like really Turkish.
Yeah, Mezmet.
All right. Shane H. Wilder says, someone going to ask the Sham Wow guy about the hookers and blow.
I will not ask that. I'll let Tate ask that
let
one.
Tim ask that.
I'm not gonna lead off with that one in the green room.
I would love somebody to ask that. It's like, so could you tell me about the hookers and blow, please?
Yeah, I don't get paid enough to ask our guests about hookers and blow.
Not
Maybe
me.
one day.
I'm good.
I don't either, but I'd do it.
All right, Brandon, you can ask.
I'd
it
totally
tonight.
be that guy. You got to put me in a seat for IRL in order for me to do it.
You can
but-
do it on the
which
green room.
I highly
feel
advise
like-
against.
You can do it on the green room.
The person to ask would be Ian, because he would ask.
Ian would in this
He
most
would ask it
gentle
like
way.
a really inoffensive way. Yeah.
Well, yeah, he'd be like Ian would be like, I'm so happy you had those hookers and blow.
Man, I've tried it once. It didn't work.
Like, do you attribute all of your success to the overabundance of hookers and blow?
Does the ShamWow clean the coke out very well? Is it,
Yeah. Does it
residue?
get rid of the blood and DNA stains that you've left in the hotel room? Yeah.
Don't do it. JP Wolf says, W. Brett is so sick, but those are all one word. That's my last name. It's
Is so
Das so
sick.
sick. Yeah.
Is so sick.
I checked out that song. Is good.
That's
There
good.
we go.
Shout outs
Shout
again,
out
guys.
Carter.
If you want to check it out, and if you do want to support Carter and that in their music, the link is in the description for this video. Shane H. Wilder says, when I had surgery for my broken arm, the itemized bill was insane. The metal plate alone was $15,000, and a
Holy.
dose of milk of magnesia was $50.
God.
Whoa.
dude.
See,
Well, I mean, the
those-
titanium I get, but the
That's
milk of
the-
magnesia.
That's brutal.
That's the stuff you see, and you're just like, you know what? Like, I obviously in a country of 350 million people, universal health care is not the viable concept it is in smaller European countries, obviously
Won't work,
subsidized by America. That's not the point. The point is
Right.
like there's got to be some middle ground here.
Because I could get you a plate of metal for a couple bucks.
And you wonder why
No.
James Vanderbeek was out of money?
Give me I'll go to a scrapyard. I'll get you off a Toyota Corolla.
Make sure you get your tetanus shot first.
Yeah, you have like a fender in your arm. That'd be awesome.
Hubcap.
Yeah.
Guys, we're about halfway to a second crisis party.
Oh, let's
get
bump it
there.
up. Bump it up.
Shane H. Wilder says, so if Olivia is super chatting, are you just paying yourself while giving YouTube a third? Well, I'm paying my boss, I guess, technically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's brutal.
doing so keeps me employed. So, you know,
True.
if you want me to continue to have a job,
Keep doing it. Keep
Pay-
crisis parties
Super
help.
chatting your show.
Fire it
to-
away.
Like, really, I did the math on it, really, and really it would be like if we could get 3 crisis parties a day, like we would be good.
Super chatting to talk about super chatting is a total win too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, keep doing that.
Yeah, do that more.
Greg Dubier says, I bought a Zune because F Apple with their overpriced and overhyped products. The Zune was actually a really nice product. Yeah, you and my brother should start a club.
Zune didn't
Zune.
make
They did
you-
kind of
What
kick
is
pretty
Zune?
good
Zune
ass.
was an MP3
Zune,
player.
Zune is
Oh.
awesome. It didn't
I
make
thought it was
you.
a new thing. I'm like another.
You don't
No,
need-
it's an old thing, very old thing.
I bet you don't know this, Laura. Zune didn't make you download the U2 album against your will.
Nope.
That's nice.
You could just in and out,
That was
MP3 straight on, straight off, no bullshit,
That was
no
next
syncing.
level. The intrusion when they did that, I felt like I got molested.
Oh,
Well,
so you
I
do
mean,
know.
it's going to
Yeah.
implant false memories in people. They're
I
like, did
know.
I get drunk last night and download
I
a
know.
fucking U2
I
album?
felt I've never been the same.
Yeah.
I liked U2 up
That
until that point.
actually happened to me one day because one day, and some of the older people might remember this, when one day you woke up and U2 all of a sudden was just on your phone.
Without
And
your
you're like,
consent.
what the hell is this
Or your
about?
iPod,
Exactly.
right? Yeah.
That's the biggest
No
thing. Without
consent.
my
No,
consent,
no, but
you
the thing-
inserted U2 into my phone. I hate U2.
To be fair, you didn't read the terms and agreement. It was somewhere in the fine line. You just didn't read
I'm
They
it.
sure
didn't
it was.
specify
Again, it goes back to
Bono.
what we were talking about like 2 hours ago, where everything has to be read fine print
Yeah.
now. But it was just like, look, man, you can't just shove Bono
You
on
can't
me
shove
while
Bono.
I'm
I
sleeping,
agree.
and I wake up and he's like, hello, hello. You know,
Yeah,
like
it's
get
not
this,
right.
get
No,
this shit
not
out of
right.
here. I don't want it.
Vertigo. Vertigo was the song of that
That's like
album.
letter of the law versus spirit of the law. Just because
Yeah.
it's
I agree.
legal doesn't mean that it's good.
It's not right.
No, it was
Yeah,
evil.
It was
and
It was morally and ethically wrong.
I've disdained U2.
That's
ever
why.
since.
That's why I say
dare
it was a
you.
molestation of sorts.
Yeah,
Of my
totally.
ears.
They molested America.
I can
And-
totally
and-
compare that to
Years.
dry anal rape.
And
Whoa. Jeez.
it's the name of my.
in a form. I suppose you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
It's the name
No
of my
Vaseline.
band.
Everybody stopped. Whoa.
No
Well, because I had to
Vaseline.
think about it, but I'm like, you're not wrong.
I know.
Right.
It's just a little
It's graphic,
eccentric.
but
It's a little
like-
eccentric.
But
It's a
it's
little graphic.
that's
That's the way I
it was
swing. I
graphic
swing
waking
that
up
way.
to you too.
It was great. Actually, I think it's worse. No,
It should be offensive to show how much I felt violated by the situation.
You know how you also
Everyone should be like, oh.
the other way you
Right.
knew that the album that you didn't download it is because back then you downloaded all your music illegally, and this one actually had cover art.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good point.
No, not that I would do that. I
Boom.
would never do that, but yeah.
I would- yeah.
I honestly questioned myself for a few minutes. I'm like, what the hell was I doing?
I have like a, do you know what MB is? It's like a server where you can put your television shows and music so that like you can play it the way you would play it on a streaming service.
Sure.
It like auto populates by folder and creates art for it and stuff like that. And I named my like little external hard drive that has all my television shows on it, Tubi, like ad-free Tubi.
Nice.
Nice.
Let's go.
Ad-free Tubi.
Hell yeah.
Oh wait, I got Chief Corey Anderson. He says, I hope AI puts all of Hollywood out of business.
I don't think it will.
I don't want that to happen. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I have no I don't fall into the category of being one of those people who just don't give money to people that want you dead. For all I know, I don't know. I personally don't think that Christopher Nolan has any opinion on me one way or the other, let alone wanting me dead. So
Yeah.
it does not bother me to go. Like I said, we went and watched Shelter last weekend. And I will always go to a theater and watch Jason Statham kill a bunch of bad guys, and I will never feel guilty for doing so.
I watched
Jason Statham's like that
Homefront.
Brett Dasovic guy.
like,
If I could just get my
Some
mitts
of those
on
guys had families, Brett.
I watched Homefront. Is it Homefront? Is that
Yeah.
the one?
Yeah, I never
I watched
watched
that
that
the
one.
other day. That was a great one.
him.
Does he play an American in that?
He does.
That's awful.
It's not right.
He's
With a
that's
British
wrong.
accent though. He did not
alright.
fake an accent.
Okay.
He was still Jason Statham.
Wait, so he's an American with a British accent?
It happens.
He's just he's got a U.S. passport. And,
He might be
but
from
he
that
doesn't taste it.
island in the
Oh, that
Chesapeake.
doesn't make him an American.
You
I mean,
can't get it as
Frasier
your
was American. He had like
citizen.
that Boston Brahmin accent. It kind of sounds
Frasier's
British.
great.
It kind of sounds British.
That
Frasier's
sounds
awesome.
like some pro-immigration propaganda.
Yeah.
Not
Like,
me. No, I wouldn't do
Freaking
that.
open borders.
Deport all of them.
All of them.
No. Yeah.
Every single one,
All of them.
including Frasier.
Kelsey
Like-
Grammer.
Look,
Yeah,
if
back,
Jay-
he's from the Virgin Islands. You could. That's. I mean, it's territory, but we could send him back.
I don't
Look, if
think he'd be too
Jason
mad.
Statham
He's got
has to
money.
go to protect our borders, then I guess that's just
That's
the
the next
price we're
one.
going to have to be willing to
Yeah.
pay.
Yeah, but we're
next
gonna
one.
have to give him a random occupation first. Like he needs to be like
Yes.
a trained plumber or electrician or something before he goes and
Podcast
wreaks
host.
all of the revenge.
I mean, he'll have to make one
Fence
called
builder.
like the janitor.
Yeah.
Where he like kills people with a
the
mop.
pole vaulter.
The
you know, like,
podcaster. And he
A
just-
podcaster who just
Like
strangles
just pole
everybody
vaults
with
and
these cords.
kills 10
Yeah.
people in the air.
He just like
you know?
beheads you on the microphone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really long ad reads. Want to kill yourself?
That was like 3 minutes. Come on.
Chief Corey Anderson says, out of everything I listen to on YouTube, this is by far the quietest.
Not until the
That
crisis
can't
party
be.
hits, which we're gonna get to again.
Yep.
That can't be a good thing.
Uh,
Maybe it's listening to loud stuff, dude. That's not good for you.
Censored 86 says it's worth appreciating that George Lopez doesn't go by Jorge.
Fair.
That is true.
Fair.
That's true.
Valid point.
He can stay.
George
now.
Lopez can stay.
For now.
Francisco Sanchez Jr. says, boys are back in town.
So true.
Go.
That is
So
true.
true.
Shane H. Wilder says, Phil, yes, that is how he spells it, does weekly vocal analysis he says vocal analyzes. I think he means vocal analysis. I swear you guys super chat specifically to make my already bad reading worse.
Could be. To test.
The psyop.
By isolating vocals to show if somebody's vocals are natural or auto-tuned. My favorite thing is to go into literally any YouTube video and see the boomer of musicians saying, "Oh, one of the few artists who can perform well live," and they say it on literally every band performing live. Chief Corey Anderson says, "Bought the song to support. Don't know if I will listen to it. Can't really stand a woman's singing voice. Carter, are there breakdowns?"
Wait, he doesn't like any woman singing.
Like that's
Yeah,
kind of
that's-
I kind of hate that.
I'm not a big fan of like the women like screaming thing. Like there was
I
this.
thought you were about to say like I'm not a big fan of the woman folk.
That's
No,
what
I
woman
wasn't. I
thing.
wasn't gonna go that far.
mean,
Like
what's
I
the
love
deal?
women. Don't get me wrong.
You're like men, but smaller.
But like, there was
voice.
there was this period that had happened where like production that was happening in California with a lot of like punk rock bands and stuff. We're just incorporating this random chick that
Like
just comes
Evanescence?
in onto your song for the last like 30 seconds and just screams a bunch of like.
So she's like the DJ Khaled of
Yeah.
Yeah.
screaming.
And it was just
Sounds
like there
like
was
it.
this whole phase that some of these bands were going through where like you know, John Feldman would just put this chick in their songs on every album, at least one album, and you knew that that's how it was produced by John. It's because this chick was in there screaming, and I'm like, honestly, like, that's the only song on every album that I can't listen to. When it gets to that part, I shut it off because I just can't handle nonsensical screaming in the background. You know, it makes my blood fucking boil. But you know, some women sing really well. Like some women, I'm like, holy shit, her voice is amazing. I could listen to this all day.
I'm ending the poll.
What was the
I always
poll?
forget. I asked, is social media addictive?
Yes.
They say yes. 89% it looks like. Shane H. Wilder says, I thought my iTunes got hacked with the U2 album. I don't want to listen to someone named Bono Vox calling yourself beautiful voice. Oh, he's saying calling yourself beautiful voice is cringe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah,
is.
especially if
That
you're
should
Bono.
that should be adorned. Like,
My
it should be
voice is
dawned on you,
beautiful.
not-
South Park did a
It's a
great
sign.
parody on him. They nailed it.
Yep.
So what should Jason Statham's next job be?
Janitor. It's got to be the janitor.
Janitor's been done though, hasn't it?
I don't think he's done the janitor. He was a beekeeper.
Yeah,
He's a beekeeper.
that's what I mean. We can't
He was
just
in a
follow
movie called The
Beekeeper up with
Beekeeper.
Janitor.
Yeah.
Did he
was a construction
harvest a lot of
worker.
honey?
Wait, why didn't they call him like the apiarist?
Sheep herder?
Like, people don't know what that means.
Not yet.
The sheep herder.
botanist, maybe.
The
It's,
shepherd.
it's got to
Must
be
the
like
shepherd.
it's got to be provocative and alluring, but it also has to
The
be
shepherd.
not done before.
Jason Statham. He's the shepherd.
The long haul trucker.
Yeah.
They've done that
He's-
though.
Beats
he
up
has-
Well, because
people.
we had the postman, right?
Yeah.
We already had that.
Okay.
So that's off the table.
I think the janitor would be a good.
We
one.
can do no.
President's
I think
been
something
done.
that'd be relevant to like middle America, like data entry, data analyst.
He's a janitor at a data analytical place.
the help desk guy.
He's just a janitor at a data farm, and
the compensation analyst.
he sees what they're doing and he sets everything right because
Or
he's
like-
in there cleaning the floors.
He's the
He's like one of the last like
operations
actual
manager.
paid employees to work at like the last Jiffy Lube in the country because they're all going out of business. So he's like,
The
You think
mechanic.
that Boston Market's down to like 8 locations? I mean, I'm like literally feel like my life force draining.
I do love
Boston
Boston.
Market was one of the last places I think where white people could discriminate against minorities and it was okay.
I haven't seen one since
It's like
Chicago,
a Waffle
and oddly
House.
enough, I would only go there after I had to appear in court
Right. Because
was
that's
often.
that's
because
where
it was
you go.
conveniently located next to the
I
courthouse.
just
and it
remember
was
you could
just
go to
Boston
Boston Market, and Black people would be like extremely discriminated against, and they would accept it. They'd be like, "It's Boston.
It's Boston Market.
This
Yeah.
is like kind of their thing.
completely
This is
fine
their
here.
place.
Their
This
mac
is their
and cheese.
thing."
It's like okay, like, and we'll hate them when they come into
God.
Right, like it's one of the few places where they're like, this is kind of like it's fair to say it's like
Everybody-
it's a white place.
like everybody's allowed to be discriminatory as long as it's in your own place.
Yeah, everyone's kind of got their domains, and I think that's for white people. I
Wait,
think Boston Market. We used to have the
shit.
whole country, but now it's Boston Market.
shit.
Yeah, it used to be the whole country we could do that, but they took that away from us. Now it's just Boston Market.
There's only 8 places.
Boston
left.
Market.
Pizza Hut.
Literally never been there.
It's good mac
there
and
was
cheese.
a very
Good
there
mac
was
and
a
cheese.
very well known rail that we used to skate in Minnesota. It was right by Boston Market so the rail was literally called Boston Market Rail. That's what the clips would be
Yeah,
labeled.
that's how we named Southern Chicago,
Never
too.
went inside.
You're eating Thanksgiving food in the summer. It's like wild,
awesome.
dude. It's awesome. I love that place.
So why are all the Jiffy Lubes going out of business?
Nobody's getting their oil changed.
Yeah.
Everybody's just like, fuck
Oil's
it.
fine.
Well, electric
I'm trying to
cars.
let it
you know,
ride.
Who knows?
Oh, okay.
I think
Although
it's
you still
people-
need to put oil in electric
Also,
cars.
people realize how easy it is to change your oil.
Yeah.
Like,
They're being
TikToks are
well. They're not.
coming
We don't. I don't think DIY is the reason. I think it's just one of those things where they're like, it's the only place I've ever been to where they're constantly trying to upsell you a bunch of shit you don't need when you just went in there for like an oil change. They're like, oh yeah, you need these wipers and you need this and you
They
need the
tried to-
service and so it's like, fuck you guys. No, I don't.
Last time I
Like-
went in there, like, because my car, the last, well, it was my parents' car I was driving, and they had like from the dealer they give you so many oil changes for free, like after you buy it, and I go in there, and they were like trying to sell me on an engine flush, and I was like, all right, what does that do? And then they couldn't really explain what it actually did.
Did you get the blinker fluid? You need the blinker
You
fluid.
need the blinker
Yeah.
fluid.
Yeah.
You do need the blinker fluid. But I was like,
I asked
There
my.
are
I was
that-
like,
there aren't
I'll
that
buy
many
the engine
electric
flush.
cars.
If you can explain to me what that is and what that does and how that benefits me, I will purchase it right
Or
now.
like when they charge you for a cabin air filter and then don't actually install one because they know you'll never look to see if they actually did.
Yeah.
That annoys me. I just say no. Just try and change. They tried to get me to get a new
I remember in
windshield
high
wiper.
school, I would get the cabin air filter and I'd spray Axe body spray on it.
You just try to.
my floor.
Oh my god,
I
that's
didn't even
cringe.
know Axe body spray was around when you were in high
Oh,
school.
yeah, dude.
Is
That
it
was my
still
prime.
That's
around?
when it started.
That
I
was my
think
prime.
honestly, yeah. That
Axe
was.
body spray when he's
Dude,
No,
way
but-
younger
Like
than us.
2017, probably.
I was gonna say-
2018.
They've been around for a while.
I used to have
before
3
that.
cans of that in my stocking for Christmas every
did
year.
you
I'm
ever
like,
do-
oh great, more Axe.
Did you ever do
My
green
age,
one?
not his
Yeah,
age.
no.
What was the green one called?
Can
that,
you
that was
say-
mine.
I have no idea.
On YouTube?
I have no idea.
I would.
We used to have a game.
I wouldn't say it.
Okay, we used to have a game where I'm not gonna say it. It was the camp that bad things happened in Germany, and what you would yell
there
that
were several, but okay.
Yeah, there was a couple
the
of them.
famous one,
The one near Berlin.
with the train, and you would yell that, and then you would wrap rubber bands around an Axe body spray can and throw it into a room and then close the door.
Jesus.
Yeah, that was a good
Holy
time.
shit.
We used to be a country.
We used to be a country. This was very recently as well.
Crystal Star Viv says, unless that's VIV. What is VIV in Roman numerals? Is that a number in Roman numerals?
That's 19.
Nine.
No, that's not a number.
No,
That'd be
it's
9.
not.
Okay, I'm going with Viv.
That's what I
then.
thought it would be 9.
That'd be
right?
9. Yeah.
Okay. Aloha from Aloha.
Hey,
Or
boy.
boys. Boomer Auntie here, enjoying all the dancing in your chairs. Love it. Well, I mean, yeah, like so we punish people if they don't actually dance during the crisis parties. I'm allowed to not dance. I'm grandfathered into that. Jason's we got another one here from Chief Corey Anderson, says Jason Statham as kindergarten cop.
Oh, that's a good
Also,
one.
the Hugh Jackman sheep murder
Schwarzenegger.
mystery movie
What?
AI coming out.
That's gonna be fun.
Gosh, dude.
Yeah.
It's gonna be exciting.
I was gonna go see Crime 101 this weekend, but then the reviews were like, it's more of like a psychological thriller. I'm like, nothing blows up.
I said
Murder
hi-
She Wrote, but with Jason
I said
Statham
hi
behind the
to Hugh
typewriter
Jackman
instead.
one time.
Nah,
I
the-
think the movie this weekend is good luck. Have fun, don't die.
The Jeremy Johns is like, it's like heat light, so warm.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense to me. If anybody ever does that Axe body spray thing, then just know that's horrible. You shouldn't be doing that.
You
kid.
should. I think every teenager in America should be doing that.
It's bad for the ozone.
I don't know
man.
if you need to call it that. That was probably a little over the top, but
All right.
at least you'd like know what the symbolism is. If anything, it's actually educating. It's like, wow, they went through that. That's terrible.
I won't promote it a day in my life going past this point. I'm telling you that right now.
Because it's like it's like historical
that's
awareness.
a Tate thing,
It's
right?
historical awareness. You see that and you're like, wow, that was rough.
that's
They
for you
really
Tate-
had a
Yeah,
rough
those
go.
were the days, man.
Those for you Patriots out there.
Yeah.
All right, guys, before we go, would everybody please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already, please and thank you. I do want to give you a heads up. I do have another video coming out tonight that was not part of one of the shows. I did a video on the pre-sale tickets for Scream, how they relate to the boycott from Melissa Barrera and all that Palestine stuff from a couple of years ago. So that's coming out at 7 tonight. I have another video coming out tomorrow night at 7 p.m. about how they are gaslighting you on body positivity, which they absolutely are. They're pretending it wasn't a thing. It was always a thing. It was happening in the institutions. It wasn't just happening from shitty magazines like Cosmo. You know, the American Medical Association was also trying to pretend that being fat wasn't a problem. So stay tuned for both of those. Tate, where can they find you, man?
You can follow me on X and Instagram at RealTateBrown. Make sure you are. I've noticed this. This is a problem that's been occurring is people will see my Twitter, my X profile, and they'll be like, I thought I was following you, but I wasn't. It's a big issue. So go over there and make sure you're following. It's an epidemic. I don't know what's going on. So
Gotta fix
see you
that.
there. You got to fix it. See you there.
All right, Charles.
You can follow me at Frank_TrueBlue on X. And then if you hang around, you'll see me and Brandon run over and play some Gamer Maids. I think you'll be directed there. And then go to castbrew.com and buy some Dr. Alex Stein's Latina love potion. Latina.
That sounds
thing.
illegal to me, but I
Big
could
booty.
be wrong.
It's like big booty Latina love potion. It's
Yeah.
guaranteed to spice things up. Not to guarantee to spice anything up. Yeah, check it out. It's a new coffee flavor for Valentine's. Get it now. Get it hot. Get it there. Maybe in time for Valentine's Day. Be cutting it close.
Olivia wanted me to remind you that we need to give Mocha her own coffee.
Well, that's in the works. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
That's in the works.
All right, Brandon.
Insta and X at Brando Inverted. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you, Tate.
Yeah,
Thank you, guys. Appreciate being here again. We'll see you next time.
My lovely wife reminded me in the chat just now that I will be on the Discord pre-show tonight. So
Oh, there you go. Get more Brett.
thank you so much for that, Olivia. Yes, I will be on the Discord pre-show tonight. I believe that's at 6:30, if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Oh, well. There's a couple more super chats here before we go. The pre-show starts at 6, but I will
Yep.
be on there at 6:30, guys. Shane H. Wilder says, you can dance if you want to. You can leave your Bretts behind because Bretts don't dance. And if they don't dance, then they're no Bretts of mine.
Yeah, that's funny.
There you go.
That's fair.
Thank you for that.
That's fair.
And one more from Greg Duvier says, I like Toitos, and the right lane is for crime. Well, no, the left lane is for crime. The right lane is only for crime if you want to pass on the right, but you shouldn't do that because it's very dangerous. It's very bad. Don't do that. If you guys want to follow me, I am, and Olivia said Olivia hosts the pre-show. So you should go and check that out. I will be there. If you want to follow me, guys, I am on Instagram and on X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. PCC is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, noon Pacific. I want to remind you guys that episode 1000 is next Tuesday. The fact that I've done, well, I guess I haven't done 1,000 because I haven't been here for every episode. I've missed a couple. But the fact that I've done anywhere near 1,000 of these is absolutely insane. I'm going insane, and that is all thanks to you guys. So thank you so much for all of the support you have shared and given this show. We would not be able to do this show without you. If you would like to listen to the audio version of this podcast, we are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than just watch the show, you can rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. It's another great way to help the channel. I'm sorry, somebody in the chat put shake that behind Brett, and I started laughing. I'm sorry, I broke. Normally I can keep myself from laughing in the chat.
It's so hard.
If you want to follow the show on social media, Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at popculturecrisis, Instagram at popculturecrisisPod. I will see you guys all on the Discord show at 6:30 p.m. tonight. We will be back with another episode of PCC tomorrow at 3 p.m. We'll see you then, guys. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.